Yeah. We live. Yeah, we live. Yeah, we live. We're getting our beanie.
My
Future,
damn.
future Hall of Famer.
What you saying?
I safe, man. Everything blessed. Everything good, man. You know.
Good man.
Yeah, man. We live episode 48. Man, it was going too fast. 48.
About to
You know,
say
we
we're
got
moving
Derrik
up.
Miller.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
man.
moving up, man. That number jumping.
Yeah, man. So that's good, man. That's good. You know, shout out to everybody who just coming in, who coming in the live and everything, man. Blessings to everybody. So yeah, man. So
How was the man walk week going? How is the man walk week going so far?
it going good. Everything going, everything going smooth. It's starting to get a little chilly. Just a tiny bit. So I had to be outside a lot. So I ain't gonna complain. Summer were rough. Check. So
We had a long summer because all up to yesterday was still hot, but it is starting to get a little nippy in the morning. It hit me hard when I get up yesterday morning. I was like, what? What is this? But the thing about it is by 9 o'clock, 9:30, the place don't warm again.
yeah,
And
that's true.
I ain't talking about no just a little cool or warm. That it blazing hot. That's the type of weather that get you sick.
That's the
Because in the
worst,
morning
man.
it's freezing, and in the afternoon man, you want to run outside with no shot.
It's true. Yeah, Al Baptiste. Yeah. That's that Miller from Grove. Yeah, man. So I'm gonna go ahead, Pang, and get these shout outs, you know, get these shout outs going and everything. So, these is just some shout outs to all of, the VI people them that's doing their own thing, have their own business and stuff like that. So if you guys got a chance, make sure you guys gonna support your own and everything. So much love to all these people that are doing the thing. So we got our legends340.com, legends340.com. You guys check out the website. We got Savory Eats LLC based in Orlando by Sheena Fontaine. Anytime you guys in the Orlando area or in the outskirts, whenever she got food, say you guys check her out for Thanksgiving. She having a menu. So if you guys don't feel like cooking, you guys can hit her up as well too. She also got her peanut punch and fruit punch as well going on. So she doing good things. Big up to Nato, the Good Life Apparel. We also got Andrea with the Melting Pot Cooking Class, and that's our Instagram Melting Pot Cooking Class. Also meltingpotcookingclass.com. Big up to Mitra McIntosh and her husband with the Siboney Caribbean restaurant. So anytime you guys down west, you guys check that out. We also got Apollo Legion. We also got follow on Instagram at Island Destiny 340 Serenity Braids by Nikki. We got Rico Conerio. His website is www.lulu.com/spotlight/R Canario. So you guys check out his Facebook page. He have some books as well on the website. So you guys go check that out. We got Right Way Service Station located in Princess next to Avis. We got Paris Enterprise. You guys check out Dave Paris, Paris Enterprise as well. Also follow on Facebook, Livewire Sports. Livewire Sports, follow on Facebook. Their previous episode, which was yesterday, they had Karen Carty on. So that was a good episode. So if you guys get chances, make sure you guys check them out every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Every Tuesday, 7 p.m. They go live, so they're doing big things, good things for the youths, them and everything. So make sure you guys support them and check it out. We also got Midnight Entertainment. Follow on Instagram, follow on Twitter and Snapchat and TikTok at The Real Midnight. Also follow on Facebook at Real Midnight ENT as well. Big up to Frenchie, Duval, Stand Up, Jacksonville. Big up yourself. Also, we got Next Level Up Printing. Big up to Chico. He did some good shirts. He be doing some nice shirts as well too. A lot of printing and stuff. Very versatile. So make sure you guys check him out as well too. So big up to Chico. Also, OliviaDesir.com. You guys check out the website. Some nice jewelry, some nice earrings, some nice bracelets, a lot of different stuff. Holiday season coming around. So make sure you guys check it out. Support. Also, big up to Bubbles promotion as well. Also follow on Facebook, Brino's Kitchen. Also, big up to Mona Barnes. Much love to Mona Barnes. Follow on Facebook at City of Refuge Worship Center. They live stream every Sunday at 10 a.m. Also, big up to Carlos Hawkins with AIM Credit Repair LLC. So, big up to Carlos Hawkins. Also, big up to Dwayne with the Calypso Clothing LLC. Make sure you guys support Dwayne. Dwayne supports everybody, so make sure you guys go and support him as well, too. He always showing love to everybody. So make sure you guys show love to Dwayne, man. Much love to Dwayne. Calypso Clothing LLC. So a lot of good shirts, very unique, different styles. So make sure you guys check that out. And last but not least, make sure you guys go follow our YouTube page at v.i.legends. All the previous episodes is there. Also, the episode that's streaming right now today is also streaming live at YouTube. So make sure you guys support the podcast and everything. So much love to everybody. Appreciate you guys tuning in right now. So much love once again to everybody. Yes, I pan. So let me just get it straight right here. So previous episode, Pang, which was myself, I just want to give a shout out to everybody that tuned in. I know it was very long, and a lot of people stayed. So I appreciate you guys supporting me, supporting the podcast, supporting Pang, supporting Tegan as well. So I appreciate you guys, man. I didn't touch on it, but big shout out to Zorro, Shotgun, rest in peace to Krabby, Haywood, all of my fellow man, them teammates, they really helped me out a lot in my career as well. So I want to give a shout out to them. And I didn't touch on that at our last episode, but I really want to give a shout out to them. So much love to Haywood, Zorro, Shotgun, rest in peace, Krabby, Toucan, and everybody else, So and all my teammates that I forget from my name, I apologize. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, your episode was too long.
Yeah, I was tired.
Your episode not too long, so let me take that back. Your episode was long, no blood, please. But it didn't feel like it. And I think because we started at 7:00, you know what I'm saying? Because we literally finished at 12 on the dot, and for Tegan 1:00, so he was up late.
Yeah, that's true.
All the people back home who stay up and watch the show with us, thank you for hanging out. I know Dwayne, he watch it all the way through, and Carrie Ann, but Carrie Ann have an advantage because she on the West Coast, so when it's 12:00 for us, it's still 9:00 for her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that's true.
She got a little advantage, but still shout out for keeping up with us all throughout the entire episode. Everybody who hung in there with us until the end. But it was definitely a good episode, Mumba. I was just as much as a fan as a host because there was a lot of things I learned about you from your episode last week, and stuff that I did not know. Even though I've known you for so long, I did not know a lot of things up to the point where you said I was an inspiration, and your time with first seeing me in Arta, them things I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. True that.
As men in the Virgin Islands, we don't tend to like share a lot of the softer stuff between us. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying we're trying to be hard. It's just part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? We just don't talk a certain way. So like just learning and hearing the things them that you said about a lot of the people that inspire you is always good to hear, man. Because I think people need to know that, and I think when you could get behind the scenes of somebody's life and just hear all the things that they went through to end up where they are, you feel it gives you a good sense of feeling to know that person, the struggles that they went through, and how they broke through that adversity to get where they are. So just make you feel proud, and I definitely proud of the man because you definitely have a good story.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's important that you tell your brothers and everybody, and that goes, male to male, something you gotta tell each other that you love them, and how much you appreciate them and how much they inspire you and stuff like that. I think is important. I think that's something especially in the male culture all over the world, mostly and especially in the Virgin Islands, is that you gotta be hard. You can't tell your brother or anything, your friend, that you love them and stuff like that. So it's just important that we start to show love to each other and stuff like that. And it's not being soft, it's just being respectful and being appreciative to your brothers and stuff like that. So man, but I appreciate everybody tuning in. Good night to everybody. Everybody that said good night to everybody. Much love. Appreciate you guys supporting the podcast. Also, Christopher Henry, he has a podcast that he does on Wednesdays. I think it starts at 9 9 p.m. as well too. So make sure you guys always support him. If you guys not enjoying our podcast or you guys want to switch over, feel free to go ahead and support Christopher as well too. It's our love from every corner. So
Yeah, we
yeah,
got to work out a schedule to get he on the podcast to talk about his podcast. So
definitely, definitely, definitely. So big up to everybody tuning in. So episode 48, we have Derrik Miller, legendary VI coach, baseball coach, girls basketball coach. So it's gonna be a very exciting episode. I can't wait. I'll start and I'll let Pang take it out from there. I met Miller when I was like very, very young, man. I think I was like 9, 8, 10 years old or something. I met him young at the center down across from Lagoon. I think it's like a laundromat mouth, but I know Miller from way back when. So you know, somebody that looked out for me a lot and stuff like he was my baseball coach, and he, like I said in my episode, him and Haywood helped me get to the 5-star basketball camp and all that stuff. And Haywood always looked out for me. He coached my sister. He know my mother well. He know my brother. So that's somebody that I really love and appreciate everything that he have done, not just for me but for everybody and stuff like that. You know, Sometimes Miller come up a little strict and stuff like that, but I understand why, and that's just part of it. So I just can't wait to hear his story, Pang. His dealing with the girls, them. When you're coaching girls is different than coaching boys. So I just can't wait to hear his story, man, and learn more about him growing up. So I
right.
can't wait.
And for me, I met Miller a little later on in my childhood. I met him when Complex opened. That was my first meeting with Miller. He was definitely strict. He was definitely strict. Just a play by the book type of guy, stand up guy. Don't feed bull crap. But a very good person. At the end of the day, very good person. Regard you might not know the means be to the ends, but he showed the right head on his shoulders, and he want everybody to succeed, and definitely the way he does it, he puts you in a position to succeed. I do have a bone to pick with him because he was so strict, but we're gonna get to that. As I love, you know what I'm saying. But Miller is definitely a person that you might always want to seek advice from, and um,
That's true.
part of the Barra family, from day one. You know what I'm saying? So just after strength of that alone, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to hear Miller's story because I've heard other people talk about him, but it's time we hear the story from the person, the man himself. So without any further ado, we're gonna bring on Coach Derrik Miller, Barra Nation.
All
Well,
right, good evening, guys.
good evening, man. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Good night, Miller. Good night.
Hey, listen, it's awesome to be here. To see you guys, doing this. I mean, I got a lot of stories to tell tonight because you guys, I mean, you were awesome. You built Barra Nation. You started Barra Nation.
That's true.
And listen, it's such an awesome feeling to see that you guys have matured into what we wanted you to become. And this was what I wanted to see. Okay. I know you guys said I was strict. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna run around and find out a little thing about Miller. Why I was so strict. My upbringing and all of that. We'll get into that. At the appropriate time.
Right.
Definitely. Yeah, man.
So how
So
you doing? How you feeling?
Hey man, just hanging out. Just want me. Well, people don't know that I'm a jokester at some of the times. But I just wanted to do a little thing before we start because I know some of my girls watching, and I always tell them, hey, the competition, as y'all know, was the Caribs. So I make sure I wear Caribs color tonight. Um, I also graduated from Central High, back in 1980. So, I'm a Carib, but I got to represent Carib, right? But,
Mm-hmm.
I'm also one of the unique species that also, along with being a Carib, I am a Barracuda. I'm one of the individuals that started out with the Barracuda, started Barra Nation, along with our great principal and Kurt VLA, Coach Dean Haywood, Coach Peters, who was like, believe it or not, a mentor to me. Okay. And I'll let you know about that story a little more as we get into it as well. But, just to be in me, I just wanted to try a little thing in there. I got on my red, but I got to take off my earphone and then I'm going to turn into Superman. All right. So I put my shades on because everybody accustomed to see me in shades coaching,
Right.
and that was just a pattern thing. Well, I always got any shades,
Uh,
but what they didn't know is that these shades are actually glasses.
Right.
That's what people didn't realize, that I
yeah,
actually could see, through them, because they're actually glasses. They weren't actually dark outs that a lot of people over the years thought I was doing. That I
Mm,
had. It's just that I couldn't see well, so I had to put them on. Okay,
got you.
but
Yeah.
but anyway, I wanted, before we start, I wanted to kind of change into be Superman and change, take off the red, and I wanted to represent the Barra Nation. So give me a second.
yeah. Go ahead, Miller. Go ahead. Miller is the first person to do this on the Elite Podcast. So he's a legend. He's legendary right now. So, uh, big up to Miller, man. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I appreciate everybody viewing. Supporting Coach Miller and stuff like that. I know all his
All right,
girl
so
his girls basketball team and stuff is watching. So, and big up to Miguel, one of your students. Miller said that he's tuning in. So Miguel Dan, I
okay,
think, yeah, he's watching. So
okay.
much love to everybody.
Okay, so I ready to go now. Now in my Barra attire, and I'm ready to go. So we can take off now.
Yeah, we're gonna take off.
Okay. Yeah.
So
So go
we're gonna
ahead.
start beginning, Miller. We just want to know where Al started for you from a young kid in St.
Okay.
Well, were you born and raised in St. Croix?
Born, raised, grazed, anything you want to call it. True to the bone. Crucial. All the way. True and true. I was born and raised in St.
Yeah.
Croix.
So let we talk a little about your upbringing.
Okay, well, for me, I grew up not too far from where you were living, Pam, or you probably grew up to for some time in Lorraine Village. I'm originally from Grove. All
Right.
right, so I'm an original Grovian. All right, I grew up in Grove back in the days. I know you guys hear a lot of tough things about Grove like now, and I know especially in Lorraine Village and all of that. But listen, when I grew up back in the days, Grove was like a mecca. Okay, that's what I would describe it as, because of the fact that we did so much things. It wasn't about warring and all of that stuff. It was about unity. And I mentioned Coach Peters early on, and one of the things that you guys may not know is that Coach Peters was also originally grew up in Confront Grove. All
I
right.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
So, I met Coach Peters really early in life. As a matter of fact, from what I remember, he's the one that teach me how to catch,
Wow.
baseball. Yeah, Coach Peters. So we got a long ways back. He moved out of Grove back in the days, and he went to Clifton Hill after that. But we still had a lot of respect. Um, I still had a respect for him and stuff like that. And then when I went to coach at the complex, we kind of reformulated, and we kind of did a lot of stuff together. But I did know him from a long time. But for me, I grew up in Grove, and back in the days, when he came from Grove, I grew up as a little fatty boy, to be honest with you. All right. I got teased a lot, so I had to be tough, but I also was very active. As fat as I was, I used to run, try to be active and stuff like that. And I would be encouraged by some of the older guys, in the community. Mumbai, you might know Wayne Hurley, a
Yeah.
well known, just like Genix, a
Yeah.
well known baseball name, scholar. And believe it or not, he played basketball. The first time, I really know about him, he played basketball. All right. He was an outstanding shooter. All right. And I grew up, in Grove watching him shoot, watching a lot of other guys that were good basketball players, playing Grove as a youngster. I mean, I remember going to the park sometimes and you couldn't get a game. All right. You couldn't get a game sometime because if you were a little boy, they tell you that, if you got your ball and ball belong to you, they'll take your ball until you sit down, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they play their game. And then when they're done, hey, they give you back your ball, and it was just a part of growing up. And um, being tough, and and it wasn't something bad because the guys were actually like more like mentors. All right, so I had a lot of mentors. I'm a physical education teacher now because you may know Pang, you may know Coach Willie from Grove School. I don't know if you
Williams,
know
yeah, Coach
Williams. Yeah,
Williams, yeah.
yeah. Okay, well
What you
he
call it, Coach Willie?
Willie, that's what the kids used to call him. They call
Yeah.
him later. But yeah, so I taught you, but in your days, they probably call him Williams. All right, but later on, they used to call him Coach Willie.
Mm.
But yeah, he was instrumental in my, deciding to become a physical education teacher too. Because he was a physical education teacher. We looked up to him. He was just not that much older than me. But in Grove, how it was done is that if you were 4 or 5 years older, you were like a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
So what we would have like in the summertime, we would have what we call a summer league and basketball league. And Pang, believe it or not, we had teams from Lorraine Village. All right, the name of that team, I believe, was Black
Fireback,
Brother.
no Black
No, I
Brothers.
don't know. Not the no. Every team in our league had brothers to the end. We had Black
Mm.
Brothers. We
Black
had
brothers.
Running Brothers. We had Jumping Brothers. We had Flying Brothers. We had Burning Brothers. Any kind of brother we had. All
What
right.
year? And roughly what year is this? Usually, the
That,
timeline.
that probably was back in the 70s.
Okay,
Back in the 70s, yeah.
70s.
And the housing parks and recreation, the way they did things then, like in the summertime, they would have leagues. And in Grove, especially, we had a league, and we would have our own league during the summertime, run again by Mr. Wayne Hurley, assisted by Mr. Williams and all those guys. They were referees or coaches. They were not that much older than us, like I said, but they formulated a league, and then they had us playing the league, and it was awesome. So we played then in the league for like 3 or 4 years. We had that league that we played in. I mean, and we used to want to play so bad that sometimes it would rain, and we had an outdoor court. I mean, and we would get a map, believe it or not, in the outdoors, and we would try to map that court, and wait for it to dry just to get our
Yeah,
games we played. That's how much we wanted to play. You know,
yeah.
I grew up, yeah, yeah. So I grew up again around pushers. I know you all have heard of pushers. Pang, you probably played the pushers back in the day. All right.
No, I never play with a Grove team. I always play against Grove.
Wow, really? And you play? You were living in Grove? Well, wow, awesome. I mean, that's kind of strange, but cool in a sense that.
No, but I ain't really grow up in Grove, and
Mm,
Grovian is the ones that like to make this point that Lorraine ain't part of Grove. I spent all my childhood, even when I was in complex, I was living in Lorraine. So from the day I was born, I lived in
mm.
Lorraine all the way until I left to go college.
Well, also you were from Lorraine. I mean, well, when I
Lorraine,
said Lorraine, you lived in. So I thought you had moved in. Okay, okay, cool.
yeah. No.
Mm.
Okay.
You you
Well,
you know you know of a guy named you ever heard of a guy named Prince?
Prince, and it sounds familiar. Not it.
Prince a Prince Hodge.
No, I don't remember Prince. I remember there's a guy, Blackstone, the Blackstone. He's a Stone. Remember Stone? A short
Mm,
guy. He used to coach. He used to coach teams out of there because I played with a team from Larry one year.
yes, 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 yes. I remember Stone. I remember Stone well. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Right. I played with him one year. Usually you don't play. Like you said, it was kind of distinctive because you had Larry Village, you had Grove, and you had Mutual Homes. You
Right,
know, and
Yeah.
you had different teams from those different eras, even though it's all really considered it's Grove, so to
right.
speak.
Now that
We
you're
will
saying
stick.
that Grove did have two teams. They had Pushers and Ghetto Brothers.
Right. Ghetto Brothers came, and I know when those teams are formed. And those teams were actually formed, believe it or not, out of guys that played in the same Brotherhood basketball league. Because it was a Brotherhood basketball league. And we played it every summer. And all those guys that started Ghetto Brothers, they actually played in that league and they branched out and they came out with Ghetto Brothers. And the people that live up in the Grove area, we were pushers. All right.
Right,
And then Lorraine came out with, I think you said Fireback,
right.
but I wanted to think back in the days they had a team. I'm trying to remember the name of the team. I believe it's Winners or something like that. But they had a distinct. They had their own distinct name as well. you know, and then we competed on. But what happened, right, is because of the league and because of the amount of talent that it had in the league, right? You couldn't have one team out of group or out of that the group. So that is why you had to have so many different teams,
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
because the talent pool was really really good. I mean, back in the days, I don't know if you all ever hear SWAT, Julian Churan.
No. Not
Awesome,
me.
awesome. Listen, awesome point guard, really awesome point guard. We had people like, I don't know, Dennis Bro. You ever heard of Dennis Bro?
Yeah.
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 Okay. Well, Dennis Bro was one of the best players, and he came out of that league, and he was one of the top players um, in that time as well. You know, so we grew up, like I said, and just to move it a little forward a little bit, because I have so much I could talk about when it comes to my growing up and upbringing in Grove.
Yeah.
That it take a long time, but moving along, I went to Central High School. I graduated in 1980, and then from there I went off to school. Okay, well, I worked a little bit and then I went off to school. While in college, I went to Oklahoma. I graduated from Oklahoma Christian University of Science and Arts, and while there, I met a coach that's legendary right now. He has the most wins in the state of Oklahoma. His name is Dan Hayes, and
Done his. Yeah.
I Dan Hayes. I had classes and stuff with him. So, from time to time, we go in the gym, we shoot around, play ball and stuff like that. I had some basketball classes, undergraduate class with him in studying my physical education major. So, I had an interest, in basketball, of course, because I had grown up in Grove. I had played basketball, I had played baseball. I even had coached baseball, Little League, when they had Angels, remember? I
Oh
coached
wow.
again. Yeah, I coached with Wayne Hurley as a youngster. I coached with Wayne Hurley against Genix. All right, when Genix had his Reds, and back in the days, the strong team out of West used to be Giants, coached by a gentleman by the name of Book. All right, he's since passed, but he had a really good team then. Um, out of those the years that I was there, you had people like Midre Cummins, all right, who was actually he played, I think at some level at some point with Angels. You had oh gosh, Galen Williams,
Williams. Yeah.
right? All those individuals I worked with and coached with Bruce Daria.
Wow.
Yeah, Shingo, all those guys I worked with Wayne. I was a little older, but again, in Grove, we used to use older guys as mentors. So I worked along and coached along with Wayne, during those early years. When I was finished with that, like I said, when I was finished with college, I came back home and I went to work at the Juanita Guardian Elementary Schools, where I got my first job in the government. Um, I worked with Craig Sheiky Williams. All right, both of us worked together, and he was coaching the Caribs at that time, and I think Pang would know who he is, because I believe Pang probably I don't know if he played with Shaky or played for Shaky, but at that time, before Complex opened, I transferred to Complex after 3 years. So my first year Complex, I didn't even know I was at Complex. I had asked for a transfer, but I was still reporting to Juanita Gardine when
Mm.
our assistant principal's wife at the time, Mr. Basil Williams, she told me that, listen, your name is being called a Complex. You're supposed to be a Complex. And I went down there, and the rest is history. You
Wow.
know, yeah, I went there, and the rest is history, so to speak. So that's when I met. I had known Coach Hayward, all right, because I played competitively. He's younger than me, but I played competitively against his brother, Bush.
Bush. Yeah.
All right,
Bush.
yeah, who was an outstanding basketball player, outstanding scorer as well. And he would go head to head with my cousin Dennis Bro, who was at the time probably one of the leading scorers and one of the best scorers on the island. He was tremendously gifted.
Yeah.
He could play basketball, and he could also hit a baseball. All right, so he was really good. But that's just because in Grove, like I said, he was taught to play many different sports. Okay. So anyway,
Mm.
after landing at the complex, my first year, Mr. Peters encouraged me, because everybody were picking up teams that they wanted to coach. Mr. Haywood was with boys basketball. I really didn't have a preference for anything. But Coach Peters, I said, you know what, I'm gonna probably stick on the JV level and coach JV boys. I had coached a little bit at Juanita Gardine with Shaky, and I had people like Monica Allen and all those people. And when I got there, they were some of the same kids that I had worked with in elementary was coming back. So Peter said, man, Miller, I think you need to take a varsity sport. I mean, a top level sport. Don't take one of the JV sports. So I said, okay, um, I'll settle on girls basketball, and that's how it started. You know. So then I was named the head girls basketball coach, and everything else, from then is history. To this point, as far as that goes.
So Miller, real quick, we have a question from Langalo. There's Haywood.
Wow,
Did
yes,
you?
I hate that name in a while. Wow,
Yeah.
wow, awesome girl. Yeah.
So she asks, did you play collegiate ball? So did you end up playing?
No, no,
No.
no. I never played any collegiate ball. I never played any high school ball. All right, where I played and got all my experience is playing out the Grove. Like I said, we had really good, a really good upbringing, really good leaders there. So I played basketball in the Grove leagues. I played in the outside leagues with pushers and stuff like that. But I never made it, or never even tried to make it to even to play with Caribs. My cousin again, they played some. We had some tremendous talent out of Grove at that time. You have the gentleman who's a principal at trying to remember at Central High right now, Eve Abraham. He was also he grew up in Grove. He's from Grove. He played basketball. He played with Caribs. We had William William Richardson, or we call him Shambu. He was like the biggest guy around our time, 6'8". He went on, he played there as well. And, so I played with all those guys, but I was never, when I say I was a guy that played on the team, but I was never the star, so to speak. I was a guy that did the dirty work, you know.
Okay.
I was kind of the tough guy. I was a guy that got all the rebounds, made passed the ball and stuff like that. Um, Other than that, I did play baseball. All right, I played baseball locally in St. Croix. I played in the man league. Played with Vikings, another team out of Grove. Had fun there. At a young age, I was able to hit the ball out of the park. So I had a little bit of power. I played outfield, had a little bit of speed. So I played all the outfield positions. But it was never easy for me because growing up, um, when we started out, like I said, I was a fatty chunky kid. So a lot of times, I wasn't given the opportunity to play. And then the same guy, like I said, Wayne Early gave me an opportunity, worked with me. I shed all the weight. And then some of the same guys that were ahead of me, that were better than me, I eventually caught up with them, and, played alongside them. So, it was a unique experience.
Nice. Do you talk to Wayne Hall? You still talk to Holly?
Oh yeah, yeah. I talk to Hurley all the time. I mean, and the funny thing is just like how you and Pang, you probably won't see each other for a while, and then as soon as you see each other, it's like it's like time going by. You just talking.
Yeah.
That's the kind of relationship I have with Hurley.
Okay.
We talk. I mean, a lot of times. Yeah.
I would definitely like to have him on because a lot of people mention Holly name. A lot of
Listen,
people. So I definitely
outstanding.
want
When I
to
tell you
get him on.
outstanding mind, he was outstanding developer of talent as well. Excellent, excellent person. Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, but I know you were, you asked me about, playing basketball. Like I said, I played baseball and basketball. I did a little stint, like I said, in college for baseball, but nothing with basketball. Okay, so when I started in basketball, I was starting purely, okay, off of what I had learned growing up. All right, and what I had learned in college in the courses that I'd taken. All right, as a phys ed teacher.
Okay.
Mhm.
Mm. There was it. Did you play all 4 years of softball and of baseball in college?
No, I did not. I did not play 4 years at all. As a matter of fact, I played the one season and then I transferred. And then I
Mm.
transferred. Yeah, and I went
So,
to another school.
being that you didn't play sports for the school home, like how was your process of getting into college? Was it difficult? Was
For
it a
me,
thought of going to college at that time?
well, for me, what I wanted to do, I stayed home and I worked because I was just like any, and that's why I always say, I kind of encourage people because I didn't want to go to college immediately. That wasn't my first thing. You know, I kind of knew I wanted to do something, but I didn't find out exactly what I wanted to do. All right. So what I did is I was able to stay home and I worked. I earned some money. All right. And then after that, I was given an opportunity to go to school. They were doing a recruiting. All right. And I went to the recruiter and I signed up, and I was allowed to go into college. So I went there, like I said, that 1 year. And then from there, I transferred and I continued my education. But, like I said, originally I kind of wanted to be into business because my family, had businesses and stuff um, in Grove. But after a while, I decided, I wanted to probably fall back on something that I really liked, which, happened to be sports, something that I knew and I felt comfortable with. And that's why I decided to go into that area. Of course, I said I had a lot of influences from people like Wayne Hurley and Austin Williams, who was also a physical education teacher, you know, that guided me to, that way.
You related to Derek Miller? You know Derek Miller? Um, Wait a minute. Your name is Derek Miller, but I talking about
Yeah.
young Derek Miller that went to school with me.
No, I know who you're talking to. I mean,
Oh,
who you're talking about, but I really don't know that we're related. But he lived, as a matter of fact, I think he lives in Grove area now too.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. He
And Toby,
grew
you're
up.
talking about Toby brother. Toby's
Yes,
brother, right? Yeah,
yeah.
that's his brother. Well, yeah, I know who they are, but no, I don't know I'm related to them. No, but we just happen to have the same name. And the funny thing is, right? His mother name and my mother name is the same name.
Wow, that's crazy.
Wow.
So try that answer for size. Yeah, yeah, kind of
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
So,
Yeah,
Miller,
kind
we
of.
got a question from Mountain, Akeem Francis. What do you think we
Oh,
need to
Akeem.
do? What do you what do you think we need to do to get some of these leagues back going around the island?
Well, I wish Tegan was on, and I'm sure he's probably listening. But I think Tegan is the right man for for that job. And when I say that, right, he has the passion, all right, and he reminds me a lot of Wayne Hurley and like Peters.
Yeah.
They're so given. He's so given, and he has the right temperament to be able to deal with the people that he needs to deal with in terms of the kids. He has a right temperament, and I think with him being in the position that he's in housing parks and recreation, I'm so sorry that we have COVID right now. But I tell you what, I look forward to big things from Tegan because Tegan, I think, is the right person. I think he's going to get the leagues going and start it again. And to answer Akeem's question, what needs to happen? I think what needs to happen is we need to go back to the neighborhoods and we need to start developing leagues within the neighborhoods. Back in the days when I played, all right, every community had a league, all right. That's how I know Coach Haywood. We were rivals, right? But rivals that turned out to be very good friends because of the fact that we had, you know, uh, not for the same thing, which is basketball, right?
Mhm.
And back in, like, if you know, there's unique names all across the islands when you go to different areas. For instance, in Grove, for basketball, it would be Pushers. Everybody knows who Pushers is. You go to
Mhm.
West, you have Mandem, right? You go East, they had Hustlers, all right, back in the days. So every area had a league that was being played. Some of the names that were synonymous with some of the leagues that were being played were people like Johnny Clennons. All right, I remember when I was playing, had pushers and we were in 13 to 16, and we were undefeated. All right, in the West and
Wow.
in the East they had Young Roots. All right, the only thing is Young Roots. I don't think Young Roots and pushers ever get to meet. But both teams were good in their own areas. Later on, we were able to meet them because once Central High opened up and they got the gym, from what I remember, and I might be wrong, I believe we played. Well, that first year, the year that I was there, we were some of the first students that were able to go into the gym and actually play in a school league. All right, in the gym, and with pushers. Um, I can't remember. It was pushers, and I want to believe it's maybe young whistle, but we eventually played in school. You know, but
Okay.
but yeah, so I think what needs to be happening really is they need to just open up the parks again and do a lot of neighborhood leagues. That's what I would like to see,
That's true.
and
Yeah.
get the kids involved that way. All right, and then they used to have the youth commission back in the day, and these guys they would come and they would pick us up. I remember, I don't know if y'all know Pete or Severin Miller.
Yeah.
All right, um, he would pick us up because they had a league in boys club, and Peter would jump in his truck and he would circle around Grove just to pick us up to take us down to play in a boys club league. All right,
Wow.
and that is how I got to know Coach Haywood. I'm
Mm.
sure Coach Haywood will tell you a lot about Peter. All right, because he was like a Wayne Hawley in the West. Every area had a unique person that wanted to contribute. We had Iceman in the East, Johnny Clemens. So there were a lot of people, that took the gamut up and tried to make a difference. I don't think that's happened as much today within the communities. And I think that we need to go back to that. And once we can go back to that, I think things would start to improve because then we start to intermingle, intertwine, you know, um, and even thinking about that, we did it when we had complex, but we'll talk about that. But that's what I think needs to happen.
That's true. Awesome. Awesome. Rudolph Simmons says, he says hello. Miguel Morales, Ryan
Right.
James, your students, they say hello as well
Listen,
too.
wow, Ryan, you bringing back names, Rudolph. I mean, you are bringing back names that when I hear them, I am so proud of a lot of these guys because a lot of them are doing so well. I mean, Mumba, Ryan. I mean, Ryan come to us as a little 13-year-old boy and
Yeah.
with baseball, and I was like, "Hey, no way, he gonna play on our team. He too small." And his mom came and she was bent. Hey, he could play. I want him to play. And
Yeah.
once we put Ryan out there, man, it lights out. Ryan did a lot for us.
He
He was
did.
an awesome player and an awesome, really awesome student, and a wonderful young man as well. So I, tell them, shout out to them as well because
Mm.
they're good, good kids.
Yeah,
I
man.
was so consumed with basketball and complex. I ain't never even know we had a softball team.
we sure did. We had soccer, we had baseball, you know. But Mumba, I just gotta throw this in there, right? Pang.
Uh-huh.
And he said he got born to pick me. I know he his born is, but I know, right? That one time we were out on the basketball, no, the volleyball court. Pang was in Peter's class, as I remember it, right? And we used to play volleyball against each other. I think somebody hit the ball over the fence. But you won't believe me and Peters, we talking by the time we look around in two twos, we see this person jump up on the fence before we could say, don't. He was over the fence on the next side. Okay? Pang. I mean, climbed the fence. I said, wait, no, where he come from? I asked Peters, where he come from? He climbed the fence like somebody who goes on the scale while like Superman, like Spider-Man. You know? Yeah, he did. You remember that, Pang?
I
You
sure
remember that?
do.
Yeah, I was.
Ah,
That impressed me. That's when I became impressed with Pang. I said, no.
that's funny.
When Peter said that, right? Peter said, no, sir. He's an athlete. I gotta get him a track. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, I mean, it is history because Pang, I mean, he was to me. All right, I look at him as our first superstar. I would say it playing out. Our
It's
first
true.
superstar. That's a guy right here. Listen,
The man
I
who built
remember.
complex. That's he right there.
Listen. Pang, and the thing is, right, to have both of you here is amazing because Mumba, you came along and you had the same type of skills that Pang had. Listen to what Pang used to do and tell me if you don't do this. Pang used to take it end to end, go down, score. And by the time the ball
Ah,
go in and the next guy going to the next side of the rim for a layup, Pang then on there and block the shot. And
Miller.
that's one of his, I mean, awesome thing that he did in a tournament. You remember that, Pang? You
That's
remember?
how we win. That's how we win our first complex tournament.
Exactly. And all is saying to me, I run on the court, said he Wake Forest, said he Wake Forest. Yeah, going crazy. Yeah. No, because to me, I just like gain the recognition and
Yeah,
man, they were like
that's
crazy.
nice right there. That's nice.
Yeah, they were going crazy for Pac Man. Yeah, but I mean, I ain't just saying it because I'm in front of you guys. You guys are the
Hmm.
ones that made complex what it is, you know. And I am so glad because when I look at you guys and I see you guys here now doing this, man, brings chills. You know, it really does because you could have seemed like you might have wanted to be a knucklehead when you've been in school, but you all got it. The thing is, no, the thing is, you all got it, and that's what we're trying to instill in you all. We want you all
Hmm.
to give back, okay? And that's what you guys are doing now. You're giving back. We never wanted anything, Coach. You know, myself, he will tell you, all we wanted was for y'all to give back, and that's what you all doing. And we are
Yeah,
so proud
man.
of you guys. To be honest with you,
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate
yeah,
Miller,
yeah.
real quick, Miller. You
Uh,
just confirm what I told the viewers in my episode that Pang was the foundation of my game. It's funny that you said it and you
and
just
I
said it
really
because
hear your episode.
that's what we was talking about. Yeah, it's funny. So
Wow.
so
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Well,
But
give thanks, Miller. It was definitely some good times and complex, and I definitely was a knucklehead because people like you, Haywood and Vele, all the monitors, Feli, everybody
Hmm.
used to try and get me on the right path when it
Hmm.
come to this class thing, and
Yeah.
I mean, I used to understand and hear everything everybody was saying. I just didn't
Hmm.
have the motivation to just put
Good.
myself
Wow.
in the position. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
amazing.
To go class and do the
Right.
right thing. But I never used to give
Listen.
I no trouble. I never used to
No,
get
no, no,
no
no, no.
fight.
No, listen.
I
No, one thing.
never
No,
problem.
listen. I no. When it comes to that, respect. Listen, that's the one thing I can say because you know how I am, and that's the one thing that I kind of demand. Is respect. I always believe you should respect your elders, and there's no
Mhm.
question. You all have always given me the love. You've always given me the respect. Whether or not you say you might walk off after I say, I'm not crazy, but me something like that. The point is, no, no. When you stood in front of me, once you stood in front of me, you were honest. You were understanding. And that's how we go ever ask her. Because like Mumba man, this guy, listen, I don't know what it is, but when I saw Mumba the first time, like he was sharing with y'all that I met him um in Frederickstead.
yeah,
All right,
Patrick Center, yeah.
that's when I just came back home after teaching in the States a couple of years. And I saw Mumbai. I said, this is a skinny, lanky kid riding a bike coming to the center, And then sometimes you'll see him with his sister, Ebony, and his brother, and his mom, she was always there. And I could always remember in that green head suit, always looking out for her kids, man. They had a little white car, correct, Mumba?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I could
Mhm.
Yeah.
remember that as clear
Yeah,
as
the
day.
sprint.
Yeah, and then when Mumba came to Complex, man, I was so happy, to see him and all the other guys, Young and
Yeah, Ned Craig,
Craig. I
Aline,
mean,
yeah.
all these guys, they were there, and I had, an opportunity to deal with them when they were younger, and I was so glad to see them come to the complex and then to turn out the way they turned out, man, it is awesome, you know.
Yeah, man.
Mumba, of course, went on to go to the 5-star camp and he had an excellent opportunity. I mean, he was just gifted. Mumba could play more than one sport. He could play baseball. One time I remember Coach Hayward came to the game that we were playing and he was acting like, could I be behind the plate? When they tell you his Mumba, he was noser. Then when he looked Mumba there in center field, when he looked Mumba there first base, Mumba there shortstop, it was easy for me to coach somebody like Mumba because of course he had gotten a lot of his skills and stuff and developed through like people like G-Nex and other people, So when he came to me to play baseball, it was like put him out there and kind of just guide him, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
awesome,
Yeah. Thank you, man, Mel. I appreciate
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
man.
I'm
Thank you.
sure, of course, you
Yeah.
deserve it, my brother.
Yeah, man. So now back to you now, Miller. So now I'm gonna ask you this question and then I'll let Pang take over.
Okay.
How was that experience like coaching out, that first team, for Complex, the girls team, and And if you can kind of mention some of the names them that you had on the team
Well,
that first year
well,
the complex open.
there's no question I'm gonna big them up because I know my girls probably listening and they're probably saying, "What? Will I take it too long to get to we?" But it's okay, ladies. I know
I
old
think
men.
I think
Yeah.
I see Martha. I don't think I see Martha post a comment. I ain't talked to Martha in so long.
Listen, my girls know me I like to talk. So, I'm going to try to cut to the chase because this is what we're here for. They're the ones that have given me some kind of, I guess, notoriety. I don't know what word to use. But listen, the first year at Complex, was a trying year. Of course, I was a rookie coach. All right. And I went in there and I tried to instill a lot of what I believe were values, the right values in the young ladies. And I think I wasn't so much a great coach when it comes to the X and the O's. I think what I was a great motivator. All right.
Mm.
And I think what I was able to do is bring out the best of these girls just by pure motivation, just talking to them, prepping them, getting them ready. And I'm a true believer that repetition, all right, is what brings about success as well. So I would drive them to practice hard every day. They would tell you, and I felt that, that's how I was brought up. That's how I was trained. I mean, when I grew up with pushers, we used to have to run up in the hills every afternoon, before we could even practice to touch a ball. So I kind
Hmm.
of instilled a lot of that in my girls, worked with them, and then, the rest is basically history. But that first year, we were able to win our very first tournament when the school opened. So I just want to put it on record that the girls, Lady Barracudas, bring Complex the first, their first basketball trophy. No, 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 no. Thing against you, Pang, and thing, but the first tournament, we won. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
We beat,
the girls win
yeah,
the first
yeah,
tournament, and Central boys win our
right.
first tournament.
Tournament, right. The tournament was held in December that year. The department chair then, of course, was Miss Fuller. All right. And I don't know if Pang remember the hat pants that we used to wear. Remember the hat pants, Pang? You remember the
Mm.
uniform? Okay, I
I
believe Tegan
remember.
remember.
I remember the first uniform we had was it white or blue?
Blue and white. Blue and white. I
Blue
think it
and
was blue
white.
and white.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Some of the boys used to complain because some of them bigger boys just say, "Why these pants so tight? These hat
Too
pants."
tight.
Yeah, so he would after that he would take over and said, he would buy get his pants for his boys and stuff like that. But yeah, that first year, Chile Del Sol hit a 3-point shot at the end that helped us to win the championship. I don't know if you remember that it was a 3-pointer that Chile Del Sol hit with little or no time left on the clock. In our very first tournament, I think it was on a Sunday afternoon, and that's when we won our first tournament. Um, some of the other players on that team, of course, um, Marta Badley, got to big her up because that's my big girl, that's my daughter. Love her to death, just as well as I love all my other girls. Elisa Sanchez, a sweetheart of a girl. I mean, just a wonderful person. Then we had Demore King. Everybody knows who Demore is, of course, the boys, because Demore could light it up with the best of them. That was my T-gun. All right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
Also
That's true.
had you had my engine at that time, who was Monica Allen. The
Yeah.
little lefty, really quick, make a nice pass. You know, we also had on that team. Let me see, Danelle. Remember Danelle Williams?
Yep.
Danelle
Yeah.
was on that team as well. Okay,
Very good
um,
athlete.
very good athlete, but somebody that a lot of people would forget that was probably one of my best players too. Wilma Roll. You remember the name?
Wilma, yeah.
Wilma
Remember
Road.
Wilma.
Yep.
Wilma. Yep, Wilma. Wilma. I always called her. I had a nickname for her. Gosh, what was my nickname for Wilma? I can't remember now, but yeah, Wilma was my girl as well. She was really good. But those six girls, they were the focal point. We had other girls on the team. Of course,
Jamin.
um, Jamina. No, Jamina. I think Jamina. I don't know. I don't think Jamina played that first year. She came, I
Okay.
believe, yeah, after the first year,
After,
Jamina
yeah.
came here. She was a mainstay too, but I don't think she played the first year, from what I remember. We had a girl named Yvonne. Don't remember her last name. We also had a girl named I can't be able to remember her name now. But Mark would know her name. Can't remember her name. was a redskin. She was Puerto Rican, and she
Oh,
was.
oh, she came from Arta, yeah.
I'm
I
trying to
know who you're
remember her
talking about.
name.
She was
Yeah,
tall. Yeah, I
yeah.
know who you're talking about.
And I, and I don't forget. I've never listen. I've never heard from her again.
Elise.
Um,
Wasn't her name Elise?
no, it wasn't Elise. It wasn't Elise. Gosh, I call her name Joanny. Joanny
Giovanni.
Morel.
Okay,
Joanny
Giovanni.
Morel.
Oh, Giovanni.
That
Okay.
was the name,
Yeah.
Joanny Morel. Yeah, yeah. Joanny. She played with us, so she was tough too. And I always remember Joanny because we lost a championship that first year, I think, to Central because of Joanny. Joanny was inbounding the ball, and she threw it right into the hands of Pauline Humphreys.
Mm.
Pauline went down and made the layup, and Central won the won that year. So I always remember that. Um,
Wait. They more just post Neff. Rest in peace. Who is that?
oh
Oh,
yeah, yeah. Oh,
Neffy.
how can I
Neffy.
forget? Oh, my defensive specialist. And like the girls are listening, man. Y'all gotta help me out. 'Cause I ain't getting a little old. I ain't gonna remember everybody's name. But yeah,
True.
Nefertiti was on. We used to call her Neffy. Yeah, she was a
Neffy.
fighter. She was a defensive wizard. I mean, Neffy could play defense. If you wanted to play boxer one, yeah, send Neffy because Neffy
Right.
was probably the toughest girl on the team. Nephews, and I won't say, but nephews are getting fight about almost every day. She was tough. Yeah, she was tough, but she was a sweetheart. You
Yes,
know,
she was.
as a matter of fact, she ended up becoming a coach as well. Yeah, because I
Oh,
coached
wow.
against her. Yeah, I coached against her. And I even kid her. I said, "Well, you tried to come back to beat your teacher," But we had fun, and she did a really good job. She was a really nice person as well. But we had a lot of good girls. We had a girl named Trisha too. I can't remember their last name. She played with us. Demore and Martha, them, if they listen, they would have to help me with some of the other names, you know.
Yeah.
But for me, like I said, my greatest accomplishment is when I see my students or my girls, from the team go on and become successful, and I can say without a shadow of a doubt, we've had a very high success rate, and most of our players, even the boys and the girls, they have graduated and from school, and they have earned really good degrees, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm proud of that. They have good jobs. I don't hear from all of them all the time, but I'm glad to whenever I do, I'm glad to talk to them. And Martha, she's just never left. Demore, she's never left. They just always, for some reason they always call every time and heal me up. And like I said, I remember all my girls
That's nice.
really well. There's other stories. Every team has a story. Because after that, I had a team and I got to shout out to Kerry Ann. All right. But during Carry On time, that was a kind of we were like a dung year, so to speak, and a kind of rebuilding year because Martin and them had left, and I was doing some rebuilding. And
Yeah.
Carry On, Sammy, I mean, outstanding basketball players. Carry On could shoot the lights out. Like I said, when I was making the crack at Alrika, Alrika never really made it to complex because I think she left, but she played with me because what I would do is bring the younger players in. So she would practice with me. And I think one time she traveled with the team to like Puerto Rico, but she never did get to. So that's the only time I think she really represented us. But she didn't play in terms of playing at complex. I don't believe she played then. But I was taking a crack at her because when Alrika come to shoot, after seeing Tegan and seeing Carry On, Alrika was a project, but listen, the one thing she could do that Tegan could do, she could handle a rock. She could handle a rock. She could handle a rock.
Nice.
Yeah, so she was a good player in her own right. Shout out to like Latima, who was an outstanding player as well. Back in her days, she was probably the toughest post player, in her day. I mean, I'll give you a little secret about Latima. We were playing Good Hope, right? So Latima comes over to the bench and Latima is laughing. I said, Latima, what's the problem? Latima is going the game, and you know how Latima was. Latima going the game, standing next to the little girl, and when the ball go up in the air and the girl going to get the ball, Latima kicking her little elbow. So yeah, that's Latima. So the girl cried, screaming, "Oh, she's hurting me!" You know, I said Latiba, you know, but she's we just see that fun, you know, and the girls just enjoy themselves, and I really enjoyed, working and coaching them. You know, a lot of them, we had some traditions, we created over the years where we would go, they would come over, we have something called pasta night, and they would,
Okay,
everybody
nice.
would bring a plate, and they would sit down and we would eat. That was before our tournaments. They'd come to either over at my house, or we'd have an establishment that we go to, and we'd eat, and we had fun. And I want to shout out to Ebony too, because the one thing that Ebony would always do before, when we asked who was bringing what, Ebony Jones, Ebony would always shout out. I mean, we would know what Ebony was going to bring before anybody said anything, because Ebony traditional plate was salad. Yeah, that's the only thing Ebony bring it to the dance, salad.
That's cheating, man. That's cheating. She
Yeah,
cheated.
that was the
She,
only thing she brought
uh,
to the dance.
yeah, Miller. Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you, but we got to pick a bone with you because we got more time. We get the more talking about you run over a man in Puerto Rico and you road driving around side of the road in Orlando. So you got to
Oh
kind of
boy, oh
you
boy,
know
they going back down. Tell them stop it.
yeah
And
yeah. So
I didn't run over anybody. But if I want to hear the story, if we got plenty of stories,
Yeah, of
I
I'm
course.
want to
still.
hear this story. Yeah.
Okay, the first time we went to Puerto Rico, Pang, you been on that trip too. We
Yeah.
went. We went with it was we went as well. Complex and Central went too. But the thing about it on that trip is that I didn't know Puerto Rico. I really honestly didn't know Puerto Rico that much. Okay. I keep getting a call. Let me text them. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't really what happened is it was set up, that we went to Puerto Rico. So when we got to the airport anyway, I remember, and he would tell you this, as we drop off to the airport, Central was accustomed to going over there. So some Central come off the plane, and we are from St. Croix, so we figure, hey, everybody gonna hang out and wait or whatever. Well, UMass was a big team then, and Central passed we, and they went in a van, right? Because they were done set up, so he would make a call. He said, "What? Them man moving like UMass," you know. Yeah, let man jump in the van and let man leave
my
you there.
my.
So, so we, yeah, so we had to find our way anyway. So when we don't get our van or wherever it is, we drive in. We're staying at this hotel. I think it was Hotel Pier, and I ain't calling
Mhm.
on name because I ain't getting nobody in trouble. But anyway, and it wasn't me. I gonna be like that. So anyway, we
Oh
got to the
man.
hotel, and we're in the hotel, so we stay there. So one of our coaches, but not me, was in a van, right? And they really didn't see the pilot. Okay, the pilot was walking across the road. And I guess the pilot, I think that from what I remember, the pilot wasn't paying attention, right? And he got a little nudging, you know what I mean? And when he get a nudging, he jump up and he said, I'm okay. And he runs straight in the hotel. So I mean, nothing came out of it. But he got a little nudging,
Ah.
he pick up his briefcase and he went into the hotel. You see, Martha need to stop. But
Hey,
anyway,
Oh my God.
hey.
so that's what happened there. Now, what I would take blame for, all right, or claim to, is I did not know Puerto Rico. But listen, I gotta give shout out to Coach Bao, another guy. Listen, if you guys haven't had him already, you need to get him because he is outstanding. When it comes to looking out for the youth of the Virgin Islands and for basketball in general, he might be a carry, but brother, this man is a diehard. He's a legend. He is definitely a legend. If you know of his story, outstanding story. I remember while in school, he was a couple of grades ahead of me, but he was a really good basketball player, and he went far. And he's come back and he's done a lot, for basketball on the island of St. Croix as well. Okay, but anyway, Ball was the one. He was, of course, Ball played in Puerto Rico, so Ball know his way around. So I
Mhm.
jumped in and I follow him Ball. So all of a sudden, Bow be line, right? Bow be line. And next thing I know, I said, I don't know Puerto Rico. I got to follow Bow. So
Yeah, yeah.
I made a kind of a sun jog and somehow made it into the turn half, right? I think some of them girls were boxed up in the van. One of them said, "Oh, I hit my head," but hit the head or something. I don't know, but that's another thing, a funny story that we had when we went over there, that they remember. And I think one of the ones that I don't know if they remember this one, but Miss Fuller was the department chair, and we went to the mall. And Miss Fuller got on the escalator and she standing up backward and she waving, "Hi, girls." And she realized that the escalator reaching the top. And Miss Fuller tumbled down. And
Oh God.
you know them girls went crazy and so laugh after her, right? You know them girls laugh after her. Yeah, so we had some mystery, you know. Um, a lot of stuff we had, but it's just all in fun. One last thing I'll say about that trip that I can remember, and I know if Pang been there, but and I know the boys team were probably upset with me, right? But
Mhm.
listen, I am a stickler for safety and all those things, like I said. And I think we had a van. The van was kind of small, and I think we had to like squeeze maybe one of the boys in the back. Not we, but they had to squeeze one of the boys in the back. So when they came out, I was like in the rage. I said, "Listen, you can't go in the back of the van like that," because my thing was if a car ran me from the back, you back there, you could get hurt.
Yeah, that's true.
So and especially being in Puerto Rico, and something how crazy those people are drive, you know. So I like I said, I had a people call me like being tough and stuff like that. A lot of that came about too because remember I was department chair as well, and when I was entrusted into that position after Miss Fuller, and once you're in a position of responsibility, a lot of times you have to make decisions, that a lot of people may not agree with,
Right.
but if you think you got to, do it based on what you think is the right call, you know. So sometimes
Yeah.
when you see me, when you see me walking around and I'm being stoic and stuff like that, is because I had a responsibility, to carry out. And sometimes everybody's never going to agree with it, you know. But that's how that goes. It comes with the territory. You can't back away from it because
Yeah,
then
that's true.
so sometimes it just happens that way. But when it comes to my girls, they could tell you had fun, you know. But I got plenty more story. I even got a story about a long lanky 6'5" dude that there on this car, but we go ahead.
You definitely used to keep them girls away from us, and so we
Well,
barely used to be the girls' team on the trip.
Tell us
well,
that about
guys,
that. Tell us about that story about Pang. You see, you got a story.
no. I said a 6'5" lanky guy. Me, he said, "Pang,
Uh,
who's about 6'5" and long and lanky?"
so I
Pang,
go
I don't know
Pang,
what
you
story you
you are
got for
done,
that,
you are
man.
done, Pang. You know about
I
this one.
I gonna pick my bone. I gonna go ahead and pick my bone with you.
Pick your bone,
Um,
my brother. I listening.
so when complex are opening up, when complex are just open, and before our tournament start, all the preparation coming and everything, and they had the dude who sprayed the barrel them on the wall, and I could just
Mhm.
remember the dude he was going to
Oh
spray
gosh,
my number
oh
six
gosh, oh
on the
gosh.
barrel. He
Go
was
ahead,
going
go
to
ahead. I
spray
listen.
he was going to spray my number six on the barrel, and he done was halfway. But I guess once you get away for that, I mean rightfully so, you know what I mean? But I was so mad when you tell him no. We want nobody get big headed or like get full of themselves or whatever. We're gonna represent it the right way, and we're gonna put number 21 to represent Tim Duncan. Boy, I was so mad, Mister. So
Well,
mad. You remember that?
I remember, I mean, a good bit about the story. I don't remember the number we are putting, but I can tell you what
Mhm.
happened. I could tell you what happened, and this going to clarify that. Trust me, you're going to realize that who I am and why I did what I did. And I think you're going to, you'll understand. What happened, right, is I got Mr. Jones, right? As the department chair, I got Mr. Jones to come and spray the barrels on the wall.
Mhm.
I had spoken to Coach Haywood, and we had decided, listen, we're gonna put number 6 on the one, and I think it was, I don't remember, it was a toss up. Either number
Mhm.
6, either you or Tegan or something like that, it was supposed to be, right? And on
Mhm.
the other end, we want to put Monica, I believe it was at the time, right? And what ended up happening is that the Department of not Department of Education, but there was a bill that was passed, right? And passed by Senator Bryan in one of the legislature, and the gym was named in the honor of Tim Duncan. Right now,
Mm-hmm.
we all know that everybody, was like, okay, well, but Tim Duncan ain't went to complex, and we understand that, and we understood that at the time. But there was a law in place, right? And what ended up happening is we know because of the fact that they had the law in place, we had, we decided, I tell them, I said, well, that's one of those decisions that you had to make that you wish you didn't have to make. So
Right.
I spoke to Mr. Coach V, principal at the time VLA, and I told him, I said, listen, it's kind of a tough call, but we decided that listen, it would be best if we just put it, as Tim Duncan because of the fact that the gym was being named after him. And next thing that we were trying to do at the time, right? Because remember, we didn't write the bill. We might have preferred one of our own. But at the same time, Tim Duncan was one of our own, even if he hadn't played there, right? So, along with that, and in light of that, we just went ahead and we decided that we'll put his number on it. And then what we would do is try to, because there was supposed to have like a ceremony to honor him,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we said, okay, well, I decided we came up with the idea. I said, well, we'll honor Tim Duncan because we wanted to honor him, right? And I had gone through all the work and tried to work with Senator Bryan's office and gotten the Palmer plaque that they were supposed to hang up, right, in the gym with his name and all those things. And then at the last minute, I was told that the Department of Education said they were going to take it over, they're going to handle it, right? So our honoring now became a tribute, all right? So that's why you'll notice that Tim Duncan's father, he was the one that came and we gave him like flowers and a basket and stuff like that. And we just recognized it as for him for being a good role model to our students and to our children in the Virgin Islands for having picked his education over just jumping into the NBA. Okay, so we decided
Yeah.
to honor him. All right. So that's how that came about. If it was up to me, okay, Coach Haywood, with that bill hadn't come up, yes, my brother, your number probably would have been hanging right there as number 6. Ain't no question about it. Ain't no question about it. So it's not that I had anything against you. Like I tell you,
Mm-hmm.
I tell you tonight, you was the man. All right. I saw you and trust me, you come out of Lorraine, it's close to Grove, my
Mm-hmm.
brother. Listen, there is Grove,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
You don't think I'd want your number, then my brother, I want to big you up. You understand? Yeah, I
Right.
want
That's
to
true.
big you
That's
up.
true. That's true.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
but
true.
that's what happened. That's what actually happened. It's not that I didn't want you there at all. No, no, nah, ain't no way. I would
No, that's
prefer, and I
that's
up
good.
to this day,
That's
okay, but up to this day, I personally, I think Tim Duncan has grown so much, and he has such a big name that I don't even think that our gym, right, is sufficient in terms of being able the main gym that's named after him. I really personally think, for me, if they open another gym somewhere else, right?
right.
Maybe like UVI got a gym, like a rock got a gym, you know. I
Yeah.
feel that, that's the type of gym that they should honor somebody like that in. I think the school gyms, like our gym, which is a school gym, I think it should stay to honor people like you, Tegan, Mumba, and that
Yeah.
was some of the things that I wanted to do honestly, as a department chair before I leave. I wanted to bring all you guys back, and pay tribute to you guys and give you what they call them letter jackets. That was
Yeah.
one of the things I wanted to do, but it's so hard to get the sponsoring and the funding to do that. That it never materialized. And I have talked about it over and over, but it just never materialized. So when I see people like Carrie Ann doing what she did for Tegan, I just thought it was outstanding. You know,
Yeah.
Yes.
we
Yes.
must pay honor to our own. You guys are the ones that created Barry Nation. We were just overseeing the process. You know,
That's true. That's true.
yeah.
So no. So Pang know the truth. No. So like
Yeah,
Yeah,
Langolo
man.
said, Pan could wipe his tears. He could wipe all the tears now.
I feel good now, man. I know that I
yeah,
know
yeah.
that
No, no,
I
no,
have
no.
all of that going on.
No, man, Pang, listen, that's why I tell you, and sometimes it's always best to come to the source, and ask that
Mm,
question. I know probably I was looking to me, so you probably said me asking me that nothing, but
right.
nah, it's
Yeah,
Ain't no
nothing but
yeah,
love,
feeling.
my brother. Nothing but love.
yeah.
Nothing but love. Trust me. It's nothing but love. You
Ah,
know? Yeah, any decision
I,
I make, is your best interest. Trust me.
nice.
a little part of me always know that it was probably for the best. You know what I'm saying? Probably for you had a reason. You know what I'm saying? But I
Mhm.
just wanted to be in my feelings, man. I think it was much easier to be in my feelings at the time.
I know. I understand. And I understand. Listen, maturity it helps everybody. You understand? Because then you get to understand, you get to grow, you get to see, live life a little bit, and you say, you know what? Hey, this guy might not have been so bad, or maybe it's just that, I was just looking at it the wrong way or from the wrong angle, and sometimes even I do that, we all have to admit the fact that, listen, we have to go about doing things a different way. Even over the years, I have changed myself, in
Right.
terms of the way I deal with people. I try to be a better person every day that I live,
Yeah,
and I think that's all we can ask for. We want
Right.
to show that we care about people and love people, in general, you know.
Right.
that's true. That's true.
So
That's true.
under all this tough exterior, trust me, my girls know. My girls know because when they get me in the locker room and they win a championship, they know how I celebrate with them, and they know that it's all love. I've always showed them love as much as possible as I could. You know, to the point that I just want to say this before I leave, that I know either this week, either tomorrow, I believe is Elisa's birthday. So I want to shout out to her and tell her happy birthday, Carrie Ann. This week is also her birthday, I believe. Well, is it this week? No, I think she's a 20. She's a 20 something. But her birthday comes up in November as well. So I just want to shout out to them, and I know that that's they would know. I mean, these things I keep because of the fact that they're special to me, you know.
Right.
Yeah. So
But
Miller, how was you was gonna ask something, Pang?
no, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Wait. I was just gonna say, well, just I wanted to say much love to you, Miller. You definitely played a part in my life in some capacity, because if you wasn't the way you was, um, who knows? A lot of us would have probably gained a lot more trouble than we and got in our young age. So we definitely need more people like you on the island, and just have our best interests at heart at always, regardless of how the kid may feel at the time. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
just
yeah,
want to, from me to you, a lot of love
yeah,
coming
man.
from you, and a lot of
And and I
respect.
And I appreciate it, brother. A lot of love and respect to you too as well. Trust me, like I said, I'm one of those guys, believe it or not. Even with your career and stuff like that, you may not even know. But I used to follow, as long as you went to complex, I would sit on my old little compact Pisario computer and I would follow up, on what you all were doing in college. So I followed up on you, followed up on Tegan, followed up on Mumba, you know, even with baseball, Mumba, he could tell you, even when he was playing professionally, he used to call you and we used to talk, you
Yeah,
know,
it's
Mm,
true.
because yeah, we used to talk all the time, because I wanted to see him, on the big stage, and
right,
injuries and stuff like that happen, and sometimes we fall a little short, but he didn't fall short, he gave it his all,
right.
and I can
Facts,
tell you,
facts.
yeah, I can remember Mumba. I don't know if you remember this one, Mumba. When we went St. Thomas a year to play.
Yeah, I remember.
If I bring the name Warm, I tell you what you gonna say. listen,
Uh,
listen.
I feel it like a good person. So Wamba was he's a
No,
he's a good dude.
no, but Warm, we went to St. Thomas, right? And we got to play for the championship. We had a really nice little team.
Yeah,
Uh, First of all, Mumba couldn't throw a strike in St. Thomas if he wanted to.
facts.
And the fact of the matter is, he was throwing strikes, but not with the St. Thomas umpire. He wasn't calling no strike for Mumba that day. You remember that, Mumba?
Yeah, I remember. I
He didn't.
remember.
He didn't call a strike for Mumba that day. So Mumba was like,
Yeah,
"Wait, no, Miller, why you gonna do it? He tried the ball right down the middle." You
yeah,
know.
man.
But Warmer, what happened with Warmer is Warmer kind of convinced me the day he could play left field. So we had no choice. We put Warmer in left field. And guess what? Of course they hit the ball to Warmer. And of course Warmer, he couldn't play left field.
Could play left field.
Couldn't play left field and we end up losing, you know.
Lose him, man.
Yeah, but it's like I said, it's all love, great memories,
Yeah.
and I just love it.
I was gonna ask you this, Miller. How was that transition like coaching, the girls basketball team and then, having to coach the boys baseball team? Because baseball and basketball is so different, and the coaching is like so different. So how was it like for you, making that transition back and forth?
Well, to be honest with you, Mumba, for me it wasn't that hard. And the reason is again because of my upbringing. Because in Grove, we could go and play baseball all day, and as soon as the lights were turned on the court, we leave from the baseball field and we go straight on the court and play. That's how we used to live, you know.
Yeah.
So the transition for me was easy, doing that. In terms of being able to adjust, it's two different sports, of course, but I think I was able to use my experience, and I did know a lot more about baseball than I did know about basketball. I kind of had to learn and develop and grow with basketball a little bit, but with baseball, that just came natural.
Yeah.
So I mean, sometimes experience just help. We call a pitcher, we say, hey, listen, this guy, what I realized with experience is that a lot of the younger hitters, they're not really in depth as far as hitting the ball to right field. So the right-handed hitters, what we'll do is try to keep the ball on the outside part of the plate, so that they weren't able to try in the strength to pull the ball.
Yeah.
So we did little things like that, just made little calls, and you could call the game, but sometimes I would just say, hey, remember, let's try this, let's try that, and more or less, it kind of worked that way. And the
It's true.
funny thing about that baseball team that I always remember is that we had a bunch of guys that some of the time those guys won't come into all the games. But when it was a big game, all I had to do is say, Mumba, we got a big game today. Run up them boys.
Yeah, yeah.
And he bike, he said, Mumba coming in. He said, everybody coming, to the bar park to play. So, I remember
Yeah.
that it's fun. It was really awesome. I think we won like 2 or 3 championships, I believe, while you were there, right?
Yeah. Two when I was there.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
know the year before, Rudolph, yeah, I win one with Rudolph them.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
So
I mean, it was so, it was so amazing. And again, our principal back then, Senator Valley, listen, he was he was awesome. He had supported us in everything that we did,
it's true.
and because of that, it helped us and motivated all of us, to want to do good, to want to excel. And listen, even when you guys were there, Barra Nation developed into something so awesome that you would never believe. Our tournaments, our basketball tournaments, they were second to none. I don't know if y'all realize that. I don't know if you got to do this when you were there, Pang, but we developed a thing where we had Mr. Jones draw some artwork, and we would actually bust through just like the colleges. I don't know if you had that opportunity. Did you have that opportunity, Pang?
Pang, you
Can,
mute.
yeah, yeah. Can,
I don't know if it was a first or second year, but we definitely had an opportunity to bust through the whatever that thing called.
yeah, okay, good, good. So I'm glad that it was early enough, and I think Mumbai, you had the same opportunity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just thought that was unique,
It
a
was.
way to because no school in an island did it. Another thing that we were able to do and establish with our tournament is I started recognizing coaches. Coach Hayward, I could still remember Coach Hayward used to have he had win like a clock, and he had the gongs varnish it, and he used to keep that in the back of his car,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the title that he had
Camry.
won. Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember that.
yeah, and that's because I felt that coaches, needed to be recognized. It
It's
didn't have
true.
to be me. I trust me. I didn't do it the first year because Miss Fuller did that first tournament, so I didn't get um uh, uh oh gosh, one of the plaques or anything
But
until probably the second or third year. But Coach Haywood had his, and you know, we didn't buy it or do it because of the fact that we wanted to, because we know we're gonna win. Whether we won or lose, we always, had it present so that Coach Bow has wanted, some coaches from St. Thomas has wanted, so, and that's something unique that we did at the complex as well. You
Yeah, that
know,
was nice.
yeah. Aside, we also had used to have the oh gosh, the pep rallies. I don't know if
Yeah,
y'all
yeah.
remember that.
I remember
And
that. Yep.
that
Yeah.
used to be our chain, and we worked well with the band, Miss Bryson. I
Miss
mean, and
Bryson.
and listen, she developed. Listen, with Miss Avila and all of us, Miss Bryson, Mark, Peters. I mean, we developed something that was outstanding and awesome. To the fact that our kids enjoyed it, and our pep rallies were like off the chain. Schools envied us. They used to call us a little private school, even though we are public school. That's how
Right.
good we how much we stood out, you
Yeah.
know, and things like that. Of course, we're proud of. Everybody had a hand in it, and we just hope that the tradition continues, in the Barra Nation, you know. But you guys again with the foundation, and appreciated all the work that you guys did.
Yeah, man. Thank you. So we got a couple of questions here, Miller. So from Langolo, what year or what team was your best team?
Langolo trying to put me in trouble, She just like one of them Caribs, trying to put me in trouble. But it's all love, Langalo. I got the ready for you. I
Yeah,
represent
yeah.
you. Hey, listen, I love Langalo. A wonderful young lady. I ain't seen her in years too, but Langalo, I'll be honest with you, right? All my teams were unique and special. All right. The ones that won the championships, all of them were unique and special. I remember my first team because of the fact that I had that was the first set of girls that came to the complex. All right. Um, they were very nice. I traveled with them. We traveled. We went to oh gosh, we went Orlando. We played in tournament up there. And my thing was to get the girls, because I remember a lot of our students hadn't had the opportunity to even leave the island or travel, okay,
Yeah.
to the mainland. So, we worked hard, and we were able to fundraise and stuff like that. And I got to, big up, of course, Mr. and Mistress Sanchez. All right. They're the parents of Elisa,
Yes,
and they
yeah.
were the first parents to donate $50. I never forget. All right, to the Lady Barracuda's cause, so that we could fundraise, like seed money and do stuff like that. And we were able, by the time they were in their senior year, we were able to travel, and we, of course, those girls had fun. So that team was really special because they were the first team. I remember the girls from that team, you know, and then after that, we had a little lull, but then we had our next team, and this team was really special to me too because of the fact that these girls, they really weren't necessarily basketball players per se, to begin. All right, and I'm talking about the team with Kerry Ann and Sammy, right,
Mm.
and Karina. Listen, I developed a bond with that team like unlike any other, and the reason is because by that time, what had happened is Coach Stephanie Williams, who was my assistant coach, by that time she had already left. And it was just me alone, you know.
Mm.
And I had to develop those girls on my own, work with them long hours, and we did so much stuff together. I mean, we were so fortunate to spend so much time together that a lot of those girls, they could tell we used to get up all in the morning to go pick up trash.
Oh
Yeah, just
wow.
to raise money, and some of them parents contributed and helped out, and so that team was really special because they came from being not that good, getting beat up. I think Kerry had my joke and say that I put her in a game one time when we had 2 seconds in the game. I don't remember that. I remember it was about 2 or 3 seconds, 3 or 3 minutes. But
Yeah. That's
Kerry
funny.
had said it was 2 seconds. So Sam used to dig her about that. Um, but that team ended up, believe it or not, winning a championship. All right, from ground zero. So I was proud of that team because I built that team. The other girls, they came in. Some of them, I worked with them and developed their skills, but they had already played the game. But these girls, that second team I'm talking about, I really kind of built them, and they worked hard. I mean, these girls, they were so much into their coach. Believe it or not, right? They would call me and say, "Mela, we coming over, right?
Oh
Coming over,
wow.
we coming, guy." oh, we coming over to hang out, and they would just come, they would hang out in the house, and as long as it wasn't a weekday, when I had to chase them home,
Mm,
they would sit there and they would just have fun and hang out and just talk stupidness, and have fun, and I told about that because I said, I would prefer for them to be here and be in a safe environment, where they know that somebody that really care about them looking out for them, you know.
right.
I developed that camaraderie with, all my girls teams basically. And, I try to, any team that I've coached, I try to develop that relationship with them, let them know like I'm a father figure, but at the same time, a loving father, that just
Yeah.
wants to help them along in life, and that's all I could do for them.
Nice, man. Nice. So we have another question here, Miller, from Langalo. Again,
Mhm.
who was influential in you in terms of helping learn and grow as a basketball coach, or did you study a particular coaching style, or a coaching philosophy?
Okay, well, like I said, I had to write a philosophy for basketball in college. All right. And believe it or not, the thing that you all see Allen Iverson wearing, and it's saying only the strong survive.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was my motto early on. All right.
Mm,
And I got that from in college from again the same gentleman, the coach Dan Hayes. We
yeah,
were
that
talking
is.
about philosophies and stuff like that, and that was my one of the things that I gravitated to. Only the strong survive. So maybe that's why I got that kind of help my tough exterior. To make sure, hey, you got to be strong because if you're not strong, you're not going to carry on. You're going to fall by the wayside. So I would always preach that to my girls. So I actually had it before Iverson. I put out that record. I say that.
Yeah, ever since copy you, man. That's what it is.
I guess so. I know I was a popular, but hey, but but really and truly, yeah, that was one of my mottos. So as far as the style and stuff like that for coaching, I looked at many different coaches, you know, the way they did things. One of the in my all the years when I started coaching, uh, to kid you or not, the guys used to call me Bobby Brown. Not Bobby Brown. Oh
Bobby
gosh,
Knight.
Bobby Knight.
Ah,
Kind of, and the thing is, Bobby Knight was a great coach.
yeah, he
You know,
was. That's true.
he had a lot of anger too. I mean, I think I had that much anger. You
No,
know,
man,
I,
I don't think so. I never
I
really
just,
see you.
I just, I was. For me, it was about driving you and pushing you. So a lot of times when you see me get hyped, it was about pushing you, encouraging you, to do your best. That was my thing. Motivating you. You know, it wasn't about you know, throwing cheers and nah. I ain't never no. I probably could count the amount of texts I ever got in my life, probably on one hand, if I ever got any. So yeah.
Uh, so Karian asks, can you talk about our encounter with racism in Jackson, Mississippi?
Oof. Okay. Racism. I that one I trying to remember. I can't remember, but we did travel to Jackson, Mississippi one year. It was a young team that and that's what I said when I said I built that team from scratch because Kerry and them were young, but I wanted them to get out there and to see what it took, to become a winner. All right. So that particular
Yeah.
team, they traveled to Jackson, Mississippi when they weren't that good. I incorporated and got some other players from Central. I think Lynn from St. John
Yeah, Lynn,
was
live
with
out,
us.
yeah.
I think Pumpkin, Kamisha. I think it's like I remember her last name, but she was with
Newt.
us. Newton, yes,
Newton, yeah.
she was with us. And we went and we traveled and listen, we get some blows. But guess what? I wanted my girls to go out there and see how it was done. I remember this, the one thing I could remember clearly is the white girls, that I mean, we were amazed at and astonished at how they could shoot. I mean, they were shooting like how T gonna shoot, way out and these rainbows and they were making, you
Jeez.
know. So, after that, we learned a lot because I was able to take my girls back after the experience and listen, this is what you gotta do, this is what you gotta become. You gotta work harder than you're working now. And they bite into it. Believe it or not, every one of those girls became a better player because of that. Okay, every one of them, you know. even the ones that we know that you thought wouldn't have been good, yeah, they all worked hard and they became good. So that team, especially, I was proud of because of that fact. Um, the racism, Carrie might have to jog my memory a little bit more because I really don't remember where it happened. If she could tell me where it happened, then maybe I remember because I don't even remember.
So we got a question from RT. Big up to RT.
All right, T, can I? Yeah.
What position did you play in baseball, and who is your favorite major league team?
Oh God, man. I mean, listen, if you live in Grove, you know my favorite major league team is. All right, and it's the New York Yankees. All
Jeez.
right.
Mm.
Yeah, I listen. I as a youngster, I used to travel to say New York. All right, and I remember going to Yankee Stadium in 1970. Well, I went to Met Stadium first when the Yankees were playing against the Angels. So I saw Nolan Ryan when he was pitching those 90-mile-an-hour fastball. He used to pitch for Mets. All right. From what I remember, that was no, it was Angels. He was with Angels at that time. But I saw him pitch in Shea Stadium. And then as I got older, I went back and in 76 and I got to see when they had that really good team. I saw Mickey Rivers, all those, Willie Randolph, all those, Thurman Munson, Greg Nettles. I mean, I could
Okay.
call them up because, I looked at their game so much. I was really into it. To the point that even in Grove, I had a little, them little transistor radio, right? And I had some older gentlemen that used to like Yankees too. And man, I'd have my transistor radio. And once I put that transistor radio on and we sit down listen to the game, right? I could not leave to go home until the game done because it became like the recreation radio, you know?
Oh yeah,
So,
everybody
well,
listening. Yeah.
yeah. So Yankees, of course, is my favorite team up to this day. Um, Anytime one of our own, of course, go up there and they make it up there, I follow them, and I kind of like their teams as well because I always believe in supporting our own.
That's
Um,
true.
yeah, in terms of the next, okay, she said favorite baseball team, and what else? What was the next part of the question?
What position you play when you play baseball? I know
Oh,
you.
outfield. I believe it or not, I had a little bit of speed. Not much, but I had a little bit of speed. So I played outfield. I grew up in the 16 to 18. I played with Vikings. We were named Vikings too at the time. I used to play center field. All right. And then I moved to left field. So I did win a couple of championships with Vikings in the man league, playing left field. So I had a little run. Had some fun. I can remember one day, we used to practice in Grove, and the first time I hit a ball over the fence, right, I was elated because I think from what I remember, Austin Williams he was pitching, and I believe I knocked like three straight ball over the right field fence, you know. And I think at that when I was finished batting that day, I believe I hit like about five of them, you know. So and I did that at a very young age, so quicker than a lot of my other guys that were, actually developed to become better players. But the one of the ways that we used to do it, like I said, we used to have a shop that my uncle owned in Grove, and we used to get a soda stopper bottles, not the
Yeah.
bottles, the caps.
The caps.
We would empty the caps, all right, and we would get a broomstick and we would try
Yeah.
to hit the ball with the broomstick. We hit try to, and the sort of stopper moves, so it kind of
Yeah.
would help you to hit curve ball and adjust and stuff like that. So just to say that I used to do it with my cousin Dennis Brown, and people wonder why he was such a great baseball player. How that helped him, just playing with them sort of stopper and those stuff. Yeah, he could hit the curve ball, hit the fast ball. Yeah, all those little things helped. You know,
Mm.
so yeah, so but yeah, Vikings, of course, like he said, I think he plays with Vikings now, but
Yeah.
he probably don't. Yeah, I was gone, by the time he came around, but I did have my, had my time with them as well.
So we have a question here from Andre Titus Jr. What did you do to motivate your student athletes to keep them motivated?
Um, to keep them motivated. What I would do is I would, of course, reward them, so to speak. I would talk to them, reward them when it was necessary. If I felt that they had worked hard enough, We could have sometimes like a pizza party, things of that nature, you know.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's a lot of little different things that I did, that paid off. I remember one time in particular, and I'm sure Martha remembers this, and everybody knows, of course, I haven't spoken about Martha yet, but you know of Martha's fame and how she ended up at the University of Miami. Um, and be it probably one of the first girls, I believe. I don't know, but I think she was one of the first girls that played at that higher level of Division One basketball. I know we did have some other Division One players, but they may have played at mid majors. Martha played at a major Division One, which was the University of Miami. Um, you know, so. But I remember the story, like I was telling you, we were playing a championship game, I believe it is against CHS, and we went in the room, I think, and I used to do like different stuff like that about motivation. I had a little CD or something like that, right? And I got this song, and this song, I believe I can fly, had just come out, right?
Yeah.
With who So we put it in
Yeah.
there. I play it, and it's saying, "I believe I can fly." And I put my girls there. I said, "Put your head down, relax, and just listen to this song." And they came out and I gave them the prep talk and everything, and they were motivated. And we went into the game, right? And we came out and we won. And Martha come out screaming, "Miller, I fly, Miller, I fly." She was so pumped, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, so when I saw that, I said, "Wow,
It's
wow,"
amazing. It's
it
dope.
really, she was listening.
Yeah.
So sometimes even when we think we're not motivating them, or not get the message, they do get it, and I'll never forget that. That's one of the things I always remember about Martha in high school.
So we have a question here from Andre Titus
Mhm.
Jr. What advice would you give a rookie coach that will be coaching players of his own peers?
Okay, the first thing, to coach players of your own peers, it could be tough sometimes, all right, but first of all, you have to earn their respect. All right. They have to respect you, have a certain amount of respect for you, and believe and trust in you. All right. And that comes, of course, from your being a good role model. All right. And showing and having leadership skills and qualities and being able to motivate them, even if they're your own peers. Like I said, when I grew up, the gentleman at Central High now, Eve Abraham, who played with Caribs as well, grew up as coaches. And our 13 to 16 team was coached by him. And we graduated the same year from high school. All right. I'm like a year, maybe 2 years younger than him, but we graduated from high school the same year. And he coached that 13 to 16 team that was undefeated. All right.
Wow.
And he was able to motivate us to get us a win. So I'm saying it can be done. And sometimes that's when, if we can use that role, where we have somebody that may be a little older, because you understand the issues, you understand what's going on, like with with your peers, so you can adjust and adapt to them. And in adjusting and adapting to them, they will respect you more, because you can have a real hash out with them and say, "Listen, man, you messing up." You know how we did it, like even in complex when we model that when we have the lunch league, when
Yeah.
peers be coaching peers, it's the same type of thing, But you just gotta be serious. You have to be a good motivator, all right, and you just have to, have the passion, to do what you want to do and accomplish. But the
Yeah.
most important thing is respect for your peers.
Yeah, that's true. We have a question here
You,
from Terry. Go ahead, Punk. You said something, Punk?
no, no, I was just
No, you
gonna say he
you
mentioned a
you
name I
saying
hear a
you
long
saying a
time,
name.
Eve Abraham.
Yeah, yeah. But you saying a name, Mumba, that I'm interested to hear what he goes. But go ahead, Pang.
No, I was just going to say you mentioned a name I hear in a long time, Eve Abraham.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah. He was an outstanding shooter. He was probably one of the first long range bombers before there were 3 point lines. Okay,
Oh,
a
wow.
bomber. He could knock it down.
Mumba, you know who he talking about? You know who Eve Abraham is, right?
Not. I want to say we had this conversation before, and you told me the name, a different name, and then I remember.
Oh yeah,
He was he used to be the science teacher in Arta. And when we used to play students against
Teacher.
faculty in school, and he used to light we up, brother. He ain't moving fast. You ain't gonna speed you up or you ain't gonna slow he down. He gonna go at his own pace.
You talk about
And he gonna
Abraham.
Yeah.
You talk about Mr. Abraham that teach I think he was teaching like reading or something or
I
in
want
Malta.
Yeah, I believe
I
that's
want
him. Yeah.
science. Oh no, Miss Seraphine teach science. He
No, he
maybe
taught
teach
reading, I
reading. You're
believe.
right.
reading. He
You're
had a
right. It
bar
was
head.
reading.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
reading.
yeah, yeah. It was in his class, man. Yeah, Mr. Abraham. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's a cool partner right there. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I didn't know he
Very
used to
good.
play ball. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, he used to play.
Wow.
He
I
wouldn't play.
never
I
knew that.
Yeah, he could have knocked him
Wow.
outside. You know,
you
and
know
all
who
of
used
that.
to
Like,
play football?
yeah.
You remember the he from Grove too. Both of them are from Grove. You remember the janitor Paris?
Yeah, Wobble. We call him Wobble,
Yeah.
but Paris,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
as small as he be Mumba, he dunked the ball so easy, bro. He
That's
jump out the
crazy.
gym.
Mhm. Yep.
He could have
And
shoot
wait,
you.
all these guys you're talking about, like I said, we grew up. All of them grew up right in the Brotherhood League. But I gotta say this though, because I heard Mountain ask a question earlier, right?
Yeah.
Listen, Mountain, you think Mountain could jump? Uh,
We know what you
no, let me tell you something, okay? Mountain, father, and I are like, we like buddies. We hail up each other every day still. All right. He's living in New York. I mean, he's a recording artist and stuff like that. But listen, when you talk about jump, he's a player with a team. They used to call him Flying Brothers, right?
Yeah, he mentioned that earlier. Yeah.
Partner could fly. Ain't no not joke. He could fly. He was not he was taller than me, Mumba. All right. And
That's
he
crazy.
no, and he could dunk. Listen, he could dunk the ball. All right, like nobody business. I mean, I mean, he could jump out of the gym. So when Mountain was born, and from what I remember, I can't remember. I think I was supposed to stay for Mountain anyway at the time because we were buddies, real close buddies. I don't remember if I did go or anything. But
Hmm.
Mountain, when I came back home and I saw how much Akeem had grown, you know, and that he was playing, I wanted so much for the opportunity because I know his mom good, know his aunt, everybody good. I
Yeah.
wanted him to come to complex, believe it or not, because the guy, I mean, he could just jump out the gym. You know, he had
Mm.
developed that same ability, and all his brothers developed the same ability like the father, but the father shorter than them. So I think he had more ups because
Oh,
he,
okay. Yeah. He
you know,
shot that.
yeah, he listen, he could jump. He used to call him back in the days Nikuma. All right. Um, but he was an outstanding basketball player as well, and a very good scorer too. Yeah.
So we got this question here from Terry Byron. Who were your local baseball heroes?
Oh God, you don't want to ask me, don't want to tell. And Terry know the answer too. That's why Terry asks it. And I vex now that I didn't. Well, we talking about basketball, and that's part of the problem too. But when you talk about baseball, brother, you got so much of them. But I'm gonna tell you, one of the main one is Terry's father. All right, Glenn Byron. Listen, they call him Jacko
Yeah.
because everybody in Grove, by the way, had a nickname. Okay, but yeah, yeah. Listen, he plays shortstop, outstanding. I grew up watching him play with Vikings. All right, I remember him playing shortstop. I remember him hitting like a big home run one time to win a championship. I think it was for Grove. We had people like oh gosh, Galdo Williams used to play left field. All right. Um, some of the, I mean, I throw back some of these names, Dino Simmons. All these people were, I mean, outstanding baseball players. Um, we had, let me see some of the others. Well, we had Tova McIntosh Choco. All right. He used to play with Vikings. He hosts his sports shows and stuff like that. Outstanding player as well. You know, back in the days, listen, you had a lot of good local baseball players. I can't answer the question to Terry right after say who was the best, but the ones that I respected the most and that I love seeing his dad play. That's for sure. He's on my top in my top three for sure. There's
Nice.
another gentleman by the name of James Watts. He played professionally, outstanding baseball player. All right, lots of power, lots of speed, outstanding arm. You know, so there are a lot of people. I mean, I could think of even Risco Davila. He didn't play with Vikings, but he was on, because he used to be Vikings and Saints back in the days. You know, I mean, and listen, you talk about outstanding talent back in the days. Those guys, I don't even think baseball is even close to what it used to be back in the days. And I got to see a lot of the baseball games because my uncle was an umpire, and I kind of cling to my uncle. So every game he went to, I would be the only little boy that would go hit,
Mm,
you know. Uh,
wow.
Everybody else doing their own thing, and I'm the only little boy with a bunch of older gentlemen in the car and going to every game with him. Sometimes I come home late in the night, because I got to watch baseball games. They had back in the days, they had Phoenix had a team named Reds, I believe it was. They had
Okay.
Vikings used to turn, I believe, into Indians when it came to softball. Most of their players play with Indians then. So it was, listen, it was just an outstanding time to watch baseball. And I just wish that all of that would be able to come back because we had things to do. We had people to look up to, you know. And listen, I was blessed. I could say that I was blessed by the amount of people that put a lot of time into me. As a matter of fact, Terry's father was the first one that gave me an opportunity to play the league baseball. Okay.
Wow.
And from what I understand, I was a tall kid. I was a little fatty, but I was wild. I couldn't hit. No, 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 serious. I couldn't hit the mitt if I wanted to. I was wild. Couldn't hit the mitt.
Oh
But
man, that's funny.
the thing is, he had confidence in me, and I was 12 years old. And he had confidence in me, and he taught me how to throw a curveball and all of that. But the bad thing
Mm,
is, I never, even though I had good velocity, I never could control where I went to the ball. You know. So
yeah.
that year in the league, I didn't get to play a whole bunch. Um, but I had the opportunity to play. You know, so I thank him for that, for giving me that opportunity. I don't think he ended up finishing with us because I don't know if it was a work situation or whatever, but I believe that his nephew is who ended up coaching the team the rest of the year. But he was instrumental in getting me, to play baseball. After that, I was kind of handed off over to Wayne Hurley, and he kind of, moved me to a different position and put me outfield, where I think I was able to more, develop some of my other skills. Yeah, but
Mm.
I don't have a favorite, Terry. Sorry to say, but your dad is definitely in there as one of my favorites for sure.
Karina Fox mentioned, Mr. Miller, talk about you making us sweat on report card day when you would get our report cards, and if we were not meeting your standard, it was the bench and the health room studying.
Oh boy. Karina giving out some of my secrets. That's one of the ways I kept them motivated too, by the way. Listen, like I said, my thing was, in other words, to become anything, we as a people, we have already been shortchanged so much. We don't have time to shortchange ourselves anymore. We have to
That's true.
prepare ourselves. All right. And one of the ways I have my girls prepare, is tell them, listen, you got to get good grades. You don't get good grades, you don't play. And a lot of times, even with a boys team, I get a lot of blows for that too, because as a department chair, if I find out, well, hey, you ain't doing what you're supposed to do, I'm gonna go to your coach and I'm gonna say, hey, we gotta do something, to help this kid or whatever. But what we would do with Karina and them is they would go in the health room and I would have them study, just to make sure that they were able, to meet the grade that we wanted them to get, so that
Yeah.
in the future, of course, that they would be able to be successful. And I think that it paid off. Karina, I'll never forget, she sent me a letter one time thanking me after she had decided to go into the military.
Oh
And
wow.
she was thanking me because she was able to run the mile run, to do the push-ups, do the sit-ups, whatever, and finish basically as one of her top in her area, you know,
Nice.
because of that. And she wrote me and she thanked me, and
That's beautiful.
it just comes with what we do, and it doesn't mean that everybody have to be a rocket scientist. We just want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity in life to succeed. And that
That's
was my
true.
thing. It didn't matter if you go into the army. It didn't matter if you become a lawyer like Kerryon, all right, did. It didn't matter if you became a police officer like Sammy or anybody else. The key thing is, or a teacher in some cases, the key thing is, you were successful. I look back at people like Elisa, she's an engineer. Danelle is working, has a really good job. Martha has a good job. So, Demore has an outstanding job as well with federal government. So when I looked at the body of work, and the time that I put in, and then I see the results with the girls, then I'm just astonished and just thankful and humbled, by the fact that I just happened to be a help to them, to get to where they needed to go.
That's beautiful. We have a question here from Dwayne. Why can you ask why excuse me, why did you come back home to teach instead of staying in the States and have a different teaching career?
Hmm. Well, like home is where the heart is. It's always going to be where the heart is, to tell you the truth. I probably could have accomplished a whole lot more, in the sense that I maybe could have taken my career a little further. But that's not the real big picture. The big picture is that you want to help where you're from. You want your community to be able to develop the way it should develop. And the truth of the matter is, had I not come back home, right? Think about the number of girls or the number of students that I've interacted with, you know, um, how would I have been able, to have done that if I wasn't maybe, wasn't home? I wouldn't have gotten to meet them. I wouldn't have gotten to meet Mumba, getting to meet Pang, get to meet Tegan, work with Peters, work with Haywood, work with Senator VLA. I wouldn't have met any of those people, you know. So I
Yeah.
think it's a blessing, that I was able to come home and just share some of my experience and expertise, that I gained in knowledge and experience over the years with, some of our students.
So we have a question. This is the last viewer question that I see here. This is from Al Baptiste.
Mhm.
How much do you recall coaching the Angel Little League team with Tyrone, Alvin, Galen, Leroy, and company?
How much do I remember recall coaching them?
Yeah.
Okay, I was about 17, I believe, or younger. All right. So the team, what happened is Wayne Hurley was the manager, right?
Yeah.
I worked along with him as a young man, helping him. So then I was his coach, right? So I would go there, I do stats, and then when we practice, I would practice working with them, doing different things with them, during practice and stuff like that. Being like a big brother to them, okay. And then after that, what happened is Wayne decided, because like I said, he wanted to develop talent, and he was just an outstanding person. He decided, you know what? I'm going to go to coach Shamrocks, all right, which was, of course, um, St.
That was
Patrick,
St. Patrick's.
St.
Yeah.
Patrick's, right? So what we did, because he couldn't coach two teams, right, or be the manager of both teams. So what he did is he listed me or put me in a position to coach Angels, all right, and then he coached Shamrocks, all right,
Mm.
but he still worked along with me and developed me in coaching Angels. So we kind of were like working together that way, So that's my take on my experience. What I recall, us doing. I mean, back in the days when used to have a white ice, gold, and green truck, and our Angels uniform used to be white, ice, gold, and green you know. And we would, Wayne would pick me up, and then all the kids would get in the truck, in the camper, it was, and we drive down to the game. And when we went down there, we played, took care of business, and then we jumped back in and head back to Grove. But it was
Yeah.
an awesome experience. Yeah, as a young man.
We have a question here from RT. What
Mhm.
would you say was your formula for a successful, productive team?
Okay, boy, these guys asking some tough questions.
Some of the,
Uh,
yeah, some really
well,
good questions tonight.
I know, yeah, but again, my formula for having a successful team again is, just being someone that really cared,
Mm.
and the students knowing that you care, so that when you would ask them to perform or to do, if they have the confidence in you, then of course it's all going to come out. Um, so I had no special formula other than I was myself. I was able to push the girls, and they believed in me to the point that they would work hard enough to do anything that I asked them to do. I just shared the story with you about Martha. She actually believed she could have fly. After
Yeah.
the motivational speech that I gave her and playing the music for her, that it pushed her to the limit because she was getting, I mean, in the game, it had this next big girl. I think it was Roxy. She's a
Right.
top player. She played at Appalachian State, by the way. All right.
Yeah,
And
understand.
she was good. All right. And in that particular game, I mean, she sometimes used to get a better Martha. But in that particular game, yeah, Martha went to work. Martha realized her potential, realized her strengths, and she could clean it up on the boards like nobody could. She
Right.
really could. And the putbacks, don't forget that she gonna knock it down. You know, so like I said, there are different things that you do. You know, and I just enjoy, doing what I do and motivating kids to being the best that they can possibly be. Because I always believe in that you can only the true test for you can only be done if you're at your peak or at your best. Okay. So if I want to be the best I could be in baseball, I got to be in the best possible shape I can be in. I have to be like a sponge. I tell my players all the time, be like a sponge. Take in everything. What you don't need is to squeeze it out, but retain some of that, so that you can use it to help you to move forward and further in life.
We have a question here from Artie. What would you say was? Sorry, that's the wrong question. My bad. Have you ever? This is a question from Artie. Have you ever coached a national team? If no, would you?
Okay, well, I've had the experience. Yes, like I said, I have not spoken about every single thing that I've done. I have had the experience to coach the national team from the girls' perspective. I was given that opportunity on a couple of trips. I wasn't the head coach, of course. Um, I was just the instrument. Well, I think a lot of my girls, were good. So a lot of times they wanted to get my girls to play, and I don't know if they were utilizing me then, to try to motivate some of my girls to play. But in my role, more or less, it was just for experience. I didn't really call any shots or anything like that. I just was helping out, kept stats and do things that assistant coach do, you know. But did I join the experience? Yeah, I mean, I got to travel to Mexico. I think Pang, you were in Cuba one year, right? Right,
Yeah.
Pang?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I with a team there in Cuba, and that was
Okay.
an experience within itself. I went to eat bread and I come out and see that they had a bunch of fly on my bread, and I thought it was raisin bread. But yeah, yeah. But it was a unique experience,
Oh
and
man,
then
that's funny.
I traveled to Mexico, and I realized that the Mexican like a lot of colored, soupy type of stuff, So my run, God bless his soul, Corbett, he's since passed, but both
Rest
of
in
us were
peace.
there, and we jump in a taxi and we find the only McDonald's they had in that area, and that's what we eat for the week that we were there, But I thank those that gave me the opportunity. Former Senator Usi Richards, Basketball Federation, he
Yeah.
gave me the opportunity, and I'm thankful for him for having given me that opportunity. And it's just a part of life.
Yeah.
Right.
So I did enjoy the experience. Yeah.
So we have this
If
question.
you if you if you didn't mention that Cuba trip, I would have never remember that, But now when you soon say you coach national team, I said, you know what? I do remember you coming on a few trips with the girls and
Yeah. Yeah.
helping out my run with the girls. I do remember
Right.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we have a question here from Andre Titus Jr. Do you believe because of your calm personality help your coaching persona?
Huh. You know, we gotta look at it from both ends, Artie, because you may say that I'm calm.
That was
You
from
know,
Andre. Andre. My bad.
Andre,
Andre
I
Titus.
think, yeah, I think that I'm calm as well. I'm just like I said, I get into the game and I get excited. So some people may not look at me as being calm, you know, but yeah, it helps. You got to be able to think. clearly, all right, and to be able to make the right decisions, rational decisions. Sometimes it's not um, one that the fans want to see or other people want to see, but you have to stay within what you think is the best thing, in terms of coaching. I've had situations where I remember like Samaria Lake. I remember when she came to me, she was probably one of my tallest players. But at the time, I didn't really have a real good ball handler, so I would get chastised because, like, well, you got a big girl playing point guard, you know. But to me, she was the fit then because I needed somebody to bring the ball up the court, when Central was pressing or whatever they were doing. So I made Sammy, first couple of years, had to be, one of my guards, turned out to be one of my better point guards. And then from there, of course, she got a scholarship to play in college as well, a community college. So, and when and I didn't stop there with her neither, because people look at it and they say, well, oh, she was too big, but I still taught her how to play in the post. So she was able to play in the post as well as play point guard. So it ended up being a blessing for her,
Yeah.
even though, I mean, I was questioned about it, I felt it was the right thing to do at the time. And, you got to kind of stick with your own principles and beliefs, and and let the chips fall where they may, you know.
Right, and that's a good thing because even you probably was ahead of the curve in doing that because look at the how they play basketball now.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
it's true.
there's
It's
it's a positionless game.
That's true.
exactly, it's true. I mean, I like you say that, right? Is amazing because I remember one time, like I said, I didn't say everything I did. I coached a team, came up with a team from Grove named Cobras, right? When we were young guys, we played in a league in Science Farm, all right. And then when we went to play, we played in my league in West. This is South Bar, right? And I was the head coach, and I would write the lineup, and I wrote the lineup, and I'll never forget. I would put, a good hitter first, and then I would put Dennis Brown to hit second, right? And my take on it was, listen, I'm putting him second because the higher up in the lineup you are, the more chances you get to bat, right? You know that number,
Yeah,
right?
that's true. Yeah.
So back then, it was looked upon as this man crazy. Oh, you put Brown to bat second. Brown was the best hitter on the team. You know,
Yeah.
because back in them days, the best hitter used to hit what, third or fourth,
Total
right?
food. Yeah.
But guess what? When I did that, I get chastised for it a little bit. But now when I look, where does Derek Jeter bat in the New York Yankees lineup?
Second.
There you go. And isn't he the most powerful player and best hitter?
Yeah. Best overall hitter. Yeah. Clutch
Exactly.
hitter. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm saying sometimes, you got to think outside the box, kind of that kind of way.
That's true.
Everybody may not agree with you immediately, but sometimes you got to just go with your gut feeling and do things the
Right.
way you think it needs to be done, regardless of what, other people may say or what, how they may chastise you in the end.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So Artie asks this question: in your days, who was your toughest pitcher you ever faced?
Oh boy. Artie looking for trouble because I had so many good pictures in my days. There was a guy by the name of Junito Ventura.
Junito
Listen,
Ventura.
Junito could have turned over a cover like nobody know. Right? And when he listen, I kid you not. So he had Junito, he had let me see who else was a really good. I don't know if you remember this guy Tat, Elton Murray. Very talented young man, very talented pitcher. Played against him and played with him. Um, but for me, the guys that could throw 80 and 90 miles an hour, the real hard fastball, yeah, they will give me trouble. All right. I wasn't really a really great call ball hitter neither. But
Hmm.
I must say that my most memorable experience against a really tough pitcher, and I didn't mention Stevie Daniels neither because he could bring it too. But Jonito Ventura, I remember a time we're playing against them. Mumba, don't ask me if it was a call ball. Don't ask me if it was a fast ball. All I know is I see a ball. All right. And I take a rip because I used to take rips. All right. And when it was all said and done, I had hit Jonito um, in to the fence in West. All right. When it was all said and done, I had a triple. Okay, just to let no Artie know. So, for me, that was a wonderful experience because a lot of time, man, these guys were tough to hit. And unless you are trying mediocre, moderate speed, I wasn't really catching up with no fast ball like that, you know. So those were some of the tougher pitches that I faced during my time that I remember anyway.
That's funny, man. I think I want to say when we did Dennis, bro, he mentioned Jonito Ventura.
Yeah, yeah.
Was he a lefty? Was he a lefty?
No, a righty.
Righty? I
And
think it's somebody else.
Junita turned from being a catcher and a young to a pitcher. He used to be
Okay.
a catcher. Yeah, I remember him. He used to be a catcher. Yeah, I remember him. He used to be a catcher.
So
Man, Miller, this was good, man. I'm glad you had an opportunity to sit down with us and share your story. You had all the viewers taking me and Mumba job. We ain't had to ask you no questions or nothing. They were
Hey,
answering all the questions.
some very good
well,
questions. Very good questions.
like I said, I'm humbled, by the fact that, people saw it fit to stay on and, because, to ask their questions and to hear my story and to, hear complex story. I really didn't get to share as much of complex story as I would have liked to share, but we still got it in. We got a wrong picture, and I'm proud and I'm humble again, and I am just grateful, that you guys are doing something like this. I want to continue, and any way I can support you, I am more than willing. All right, because you are me, you represent me, you represent Barra Nation. All right, you represent the island of St. Croix you know. And we need more young men like you and Mumba and Tegan to go out and to continue to represent us, and to take it to the next level. All right, because we started it, but we need y'all to continue it. Okay,
Mm,
we need y'all to
facts.
continue.
Well, we will definitely like you to come on again. One day we will plan like a Barra reunion.
Um,
We got different ideas that we're gonna try to implement. To make it fun, to just keep the viewers interested, and so we're
okay.
definitely gonna bring you back on to share some of those Barra stories, because we definitely want to give you the opportunity to share
Yeah,
some of those.
I still didn't get to say the one, but the little, and I'll get a little more detail about who he is. The tall, skinny, lanky boy that used to ride bike out of west. You know what I
That's
mean?
Mumba, because you mentioned it all, yeah.
What story is this, man? I cannot tripping out. Naibo telling me about some story. I have no idea what you talking about, Milan. Like honestly,
I will tell you, because I will know, I will be there.
I cannot know because it's like, man, I hope ain't nothing like bad, man, because I ain't want nobody to hear something
I
bad and
would
think,
never say nothing bad about you, but listen, but
oh
I
God.
don't know, and I just saying it might have been. I don't know. I don't have no evidence. All right, so I can't lock him up because I ain't got no kind of evidence. It's just suspecting. I see a shadow. That's all I know. Okay, that's all the story got. I see a shadow.
Yeah, what
But
happened? Let's hear it, my Miller. Let me hear what you talking about, man. I tell you if it's me or not. I like this is crazy.
but anyway, Mumba was like top dog. He won everything. I mean, he was the year that Mumba won. As a matter of fact, he was MVP. All right, Island MVP, Mumba. And by the way, I still have a lot of those pictures. Still have a lot of those pictures from those years back in the days. All
Yeah,
right,
man. Just
I'm
make
very
sure you don't be posting them anywhere.
no. Mumba, come on.
No, man.
I don't even know how to operate the computer to go there. So I'm still on. So you don't gotta worry about that. The secret is safe with me. If it was you, because I ain't saying to you. But anyway, the story goes, like I said, wow, Mr. Mumba used to lock up. Miller used to lock up with them girls from we. Well,
Okay, no, Milan, okay, that's enough, man. We're not gonna get into no story with no girls. We don't. We yeah, we.
we I thought he said, well, here, Pam.
No, no,
I,
no.
I, I definitely want to hear it.
You
We are going
you talking about Iraq? I know you're talking about. We talking about.
oh,
Yeah.
we are going to do it on the side. No, we're doing it on the side.
Yeah. I know people try to hear the story. No, I ain't hearing this story. We not hearing
Mumba,
this story.
listen, I will throw my boy under the bus. Mumba is my boy. He's my boy. I tell you under the pressure, though.
Watch out, Miller. you better don't tell me, because I can definitely throw you under the bus.
Ah,
At the least
man.
expect it.
Yeah,
And you
man.
better
But
don't
hey,
tell Tiga neither, because Tiga will throw you under the
I
bus.
think I'll tell you too. I'll throw you under the bus too.
For
No, I,
sure.
remember, hey, he was my boy for
Yeah, yeah.
life. You know
Miller is
how
my
we
boy.
do.
Yeah, yeah. Miller is my boy. That's for sure.
I can't. I just have to bring it up for laugh because I know when I bring it up, I know Mama say, "What he really got what I mean." But no, I'm not. It's all love, man. All love, you know. All love.
Oh
we
my
Hey,
God.
you guys, I'm just gonna say, you guys set me up. I remember, I used to have bags under my eyes when young
Oh,
because when
man.
I travel, you guys, I remember to St. Thomas, I used to have to kind of sleep outside. You know, I ain't saying it was complex boys, he had a
Yeah.
lot of boys, Steve.
right.
But
But
hey, listen,
we definitely, you ain't had to worry about the complex boys, because when we used to go on trip, we just see the complex girls them all the time. So we trying to get like the
yeah,
central girls and the St. Thomas
I,
girls.
I,
So
I know, I
we
know.
trying to see the complex girls. So we don't see them all the time.
Right, right. Yeah, man. But hey, listen, guys, it is awesome talking to y'all, man. I really, appreciate the time with you guys. And, even though I don't get to see you all, and
Yeah.
this medium that we got to use, much love to you guys.
Give
Much
thanks.
love. I even asked some of my students to tune in tonight just to hear a little bit of the history of the Barracudas because they're ninth graders, and they ain't know
Right.
nothing about correlation. So I wanted them to hear a little bit because I've never met them. I only see them on the video, the screen for work. So I
Mhm.
asked them to tune in, and hopefully, they will see it as an avenue to just tune in once in a while, and grow your audience and all of that because what you guys are doing is impressive, and we need to hear more of this, because there's so many great people and trust me, I am not great in any means. I'm just a regular guy. There are so many guys that have a real good story to share with you all. Some of those names that I gave you all, those are people that you need to talk about because they could give you the real old time story as to how, it was back in the days, because
Yeah.
they are the legends. To me, in my opinion, they're the legends.
Right.
I am just somebody that's just carrying the torch along the way. That's all I'm doing. But they're the real legends. My growing up was like outstanding in Grove. Man, guys, you won't believe how they treated us as young men. Vikings baseball team, I just give you a tidbit of this, right? They would practice on the Saturdays. As a young man, we were allowed to go out there and shag bars with them. When they were
Wow.
finished, those working men, all right, they would go over by the shop and they would have a barbecue, all right,
Mhm.
and whatever they had, they were willing to share with the young men that were there, all right. And I talking to people like Terry Father, was one of them. My uncle, I mean, a whole host of people, Paul, Anna, listen, those guys did a lot, and it's really hard sometimes when we look back and we see what Grove has come to, and we just got to get it back. And that Grove alone is the entire island,
Right.
and somehow, some way, we got to get it back. And I think the road and to getting it back is through you guys. All right,
Right.
the world to get it back is through you guys. So I appreciate it for the time and the effort and that you spend here with me.
Yeah,
Well,
man,
give
Miller.
thanks, man. Yeah, we appreciate you sitting down with us and sharing your story. I know the viewers appreciate it because they were well engaged, and that's how you know that you played a good role coming up because I'm pretty sure whoever you tell to sign on because I saw a lot of names that I haven't either seen in a while or even seen before. So
Yeah.
thank you for Martha Demore for passing through. You are definitely legends, and better know that we coming our your way pretty soon. And
Oh yeah. Oh, Martha and Dimo. Oh my.
They're not doing it. I already talked to Marta already.
Listen, I got
well,
listen. Only
Martha,
one person can get Martha to do it.
Yeah.
I gonna get her to do it.
So
Don't worry. I gonna tell her the
yeah,
story about. I'm gonna play that song for her. I believe I can fly.
yeah, that R. Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
she gonna come out. Dimo got a great story too. Excellent shooter. Oh my goodness. I just the more I used to pound my chest and say, and this is why I coined the phrase from the more money in the bank. All right, because the more once she step up to that free throw line, hey, don't even worry. I used water in the vein. She never used to miss.
great.
She used to get bowel headaches. share Monica.
That's true.
Yeah, they sure did, you know.
That's true. That's true. I want to read you something here, Miller, that I think Marta wrote. She said, Miller, thanks for being the role model that you have been to me to this day on and off the court. Shout out to Mistress Miller, also because she played a major part as well, Marta.
Yes, and you know, it's sad that Martha had to say that. But we were talking basketball again, and I didn't even mention my wife and the role that she played. You know, she played a very strong role as far as counseling and working along with all these girls. She was like a mother figure. Like I was like the father figure. She
Yeah.
was the mother figure. And the truth of the matter is, you know, my children grew up knowing a lot of these players that I worked with, you know, and because of them, you know, I was able to, you know, do the things that I did. My wife eventually later on started traveling with us. You know, like I said, I didn't share everything, you know, because we kind of bounced back and forth. So I didn't get to share the whole basketball story neither, because I had individuals that, you know, would travel with a team and cook for the girls. You know, when the government decided they weren't going to feed them anymore, yeah,
Wow.
we had individuals. So I like, you know, people like that, you know, I like to remember and like to big them up as well. Carol, Nicholas. You know, Mr. Haywood did it. Coach Haywood did it with Sherry, of course, on the boys' side. You know, so it's a whole gamut of things that we did. You know, I
Mhm.
haven't had the opportunity, I guess, you know, like I said, to speak everything because we spoke, you know, wrongly about everything. You know, but I appreciate all of you, Martha. The more, you know, listen, you guys have made my life what it is in terms of being very happy, um, you know, to see what you all are doing and know that, you know, I must have done something wrong, right? You know what I mean? So it's left now for me to leave it for somebody else and time to go mind the grandchildren. You know, I got two grandsons, and
Nice.
and a granddaughter now. So, you know me already. I'm going to be working with them and spend a lot of time with them and trying to develop them into becoming a well-rounded young men in sports and you know in whatever, you know. And I know that Mumba, you know, you have a son and you're working with him, and I like to see that. Pang, I don't know much because we don't talk, but you know,
Right?
if you have children as well, you know, I know you are going to be the role models that they need, you know, because you guys have demonstrated, you know, the ability to be leaders, you know, and we thank you so much for that.
Yeah, man,
Man,
Miller.
give thanks, man. And yeah, I do have kids. I got two, a 14-year-old and a 9-year-old. They're
Okay.
my headaches, but they're good kids.
Hey, hey, what they say? What the apple? Learn some of the apple. You know, fall too far from the
Far
tree.
from,
Just roll.
far from the tree, yeah.
That's
Just
true.
roll. Just
That's
roll.
true. Yeah.
So,
my
hey,
daughter, my daughter, that definitely everything I tell she should have trade back at my face that she get from me. So
hey, wow. That's all right, man. Hey, that's okay. That's okay, man. But hey, I'm glad, man. Glad to know you all doing well too, brothers. You know, appreciate you guys.
Miller, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. We Pang already said it. We definitely have to have you back on so you could touch more on, the basketball, the girls and stuff. I'd like to hear more about, the story with Martin about, how the whole process went when she went to the Hurricanes, etc. So we'll
Right.
definitely like to have you back on. I really enjoy when you tell, the stories then from back in the 70s and the 80s and stuff, and some of the guests that we have had on when they talk about back in the day, because we really don't know any type of history from back then. So I'm really intrigued, and I love hearing you calling the different names and stuff like that. Some of them are passed away and they
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
have the chance to tell their story. So when you guys mention their name, it kind of brings some joy, joy to me, because we should definitely know the history,
Right.
so
I wanted to go before I mentioned because, like you say, you know, please come back. I got to shout out to Harris Clark and Elmo Plaskett. All right, because every single Wednesday we could look at the camper, they come in a green and white camper, and they driving up in Grove. All right, and they used to practice us every single Wednesday. You know, and those are two legends within themselves. You know, we
yeah,
talk about Harris Clark. You know, when I went to New York, like I said, a Yankees fan, you know, and I went and I was looking in the Hall of Fame in Yankee Stadium, and I saw his name written there, and there was this gentleman, and he said, "Who are you looking for?" I said, "Harris Clark." He said, "Oh man, that was my favorite player, but I couldn't stand I couldn't stand him for a while because my dad would make me use his stance. You know, when he was batting, his father, I like him. So his father, he said Harris Clark had a wide stance. So his dad would always make him use a wide stance to bat just like Harris Clark. You know, so it was so amazing, you know, to travel abroad and to hear that. You
Yeah, man,
know,
that's
I said,
amazing.
wow, a local Virgin Islander. So when I told him, hey, you know, yeah, he, you know, worked with me as a youngster, you know, so I had to, you know, look for his name that I'm here. So he was like kind of impressed by that, you know, and all of that. So, you know, those are the type of guys, you know, that you know, I wish you could hear their stories as well, but somebody could tell it and pass it on for them. Now his son, of course, he has two sons that were outstanding baseball players in their own rights as well. So
Yeah.
you know, maybe, you know, if you hadn't have them already, maybe in the future you could have them as well too, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, hopefully, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, man. All the viewers, I appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate you guys sticking with us. You know, asking some amazing questions. Appreciate you guys supporting. You know, Derrik Miller. You know, tonight. So I appreciate you guys, man. Much love to everybody. You know, so
Yeah, and we are serious about getting you back on. We're gonna have to because I getting a lot of hate mail over here on my end that why you're cutting the interview so short. But we normally to go longer, Miller. But you know, we don't
And
want
for
to
me,
run too late in the night. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So
tomorrow is
we
a work
we
day, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, yeah.
right. So we
yeah.
definitely gonna bring you back on and to share some of them story, especially the one from Mumbai. We ain't gonna save you.
Yes, guys.
we ain't gonna save you.
And guys, listen,
So
have a wonderful Thanksgiving, man.
Yeah,
Thanksgiving coming up.
yes, yes,
I
yes.
always give a blessing for what you have. You know, have a wonderful Thanksgiving to all my girls that whether they were on or not, you know, you all pass the word, spread the word. Like I said, we're like a sisterhood, you know, you're like, and make sure that, you know, you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Big up, shout out, carry on. I remember your birthday. So if I don't write you on your birthday because I get too busy, happy birthday in advance. Elisa, happy birthday to you as well, because I know you guys were born in the month of November. If I'm missing anybody from November, happy birthday. All right. I love you guys.
give thanks, Miller. Give thanks to the viewers. You know, like I always said, there's no us without you. Appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. We're gonna sign it off and see you on Sunday for Jomo Dopwell episode.
Yep.
And
Sunday.
everybody enjoy the night, man. Thank you for hanging out with us this evening.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a good one.
All
Take
right.
care.
Harry Miller,
Good night. Good
much
night.
love.
All right. Yeah, man.